Chapter 438. Other than the prayers trial machine, the sea of suffering machine, and the anger calming machine, there was also a sinner's repent machine marked with a 47 on the side. It was a red self-service selfie machine. Humans can take a selfie, then pay with their own blood to erase their crimes from the picture. Depending on the crime, the amount of blood they have to pay is also different. Those who have committed heinous crimes can't even redeem themselves with their entire body's blood. Those who have committed minor crimes can only keep their lives after using this machine. This is the only way for normal people to resist the prayers trial machine. After all, regardless of whether they've committed a major or minor crime, as long as they're on the prayers trial machine, they only need to pay a single drop of blood to vote for their crimes. There have already been quite a few people who didn't deserve to die who were voted to death. Because of that, the red self-service selfie machine had an endless amount of business. These ridiculous Huang Quan machines helped to alleviate people's anxiety during the apocalypse, especially the prayers trial machine. After it appeared, the relationship between people became much better. Hey, what did you get as payment from the prayers trial machine? Zhang Youngho asked Yi Fei Li. My God's chosen skill has changed a bit. I can now choose what I want to hear. Yi Fei Li smiled. Congratulations, you can talk to your girlfriend whenever you want. That's right, night. A secluded area. Everyone who didn't have anything to do with it had been chased away. Valiant armed men in combat suits and armed with all kinds of weapons surrounded the area. They spread out in all directions, vigilantly watching their surroundings for any movement. In the middle of the crowd, in an empty space, the 4 doomsday consoles were placed side by side. A few mysterious people wearing black coats with their hats pulled down were standing next to the apocalypse machines. Shall we begin? One of them asked. Begin, an aged voice said. As soon as he said so, a few people wielded their weapons and stood next to the claw machine. The man walked up to the machine and placed his hand on it. The claw machine lit up as the game's music began to play again. You can activate it once with 1 drop of blood, ding dong. I want to capture the president of the Federation. Can you do that? Please state his name and age. The man spoke. The claw machine remained silent for a while before saying, I can't grab this person. Why? Isn't he an ordinary person? That person couldn't help asking. The doll machine said, because you have evil thoughts in your hearts. The man turned his head and looked behind him. Switch to another machine, the old voice said. The man then walked in front of the prayers trial machine and said, I want to judge someone. The prayers trial machine let out a rumbling sound. Dear customer, please tell me the sinner you want to judge and his identity. The man whispered, I want to put the president of the Federation on trial. I cannot judge this person, the prayers trial machine answered. Why? Previously, when the Chief Justice of the Federation was convicted of a felony, you even tried him. Why didn't you try the president? The man asked. The prayers trial machine answered. Even though he's very good at playing tricks, it's all for the benefit of the people, so he's not a bad person. They looked at each other in dismay. Truly damnable, the aged voice said. How strange, we tried to kill him so many times but still couldn't kill him. Another old voice said, and now even this strange thing is protecting him. In the history of the Federation, we've used the same method to change the president so many times. Why do we always fail this time? Another old voice asked. The most important thing is that more and more people are supporting him. Zhang family's martial saint and the new generation of hitmen are all protecting him. And that Federation scientist, he's the most hateful. If this continues, whatever bill he wants to sign, that bill will be carried out, a worried voice said. Let's go and arrange for the next assassination. I heard that cats have 9 lives if he doesn't die. I'll just keep killing. That's right, how strange. After saying so, they split up and left this secluded area. So that's all you can do? Gu Qing-shan couldn't believe it. That's right, the prayers trial machine answered. Then what about hell? The prayers trial machine answered. Please take note of our numbers. I can see them. They're 1, 12, 23, and 47, the machines that deal with all matters of Huang Quan, numbered from 1 to 88. There are a total of 88 of them. As Huang Quan's daily work and daily life machines, not only can we deal with all sorts of matters, we also have a certain amount of entertainment functions. This is to ease the pressure of the demons and gods of Huang Quan, improving their quality of life. Gu Qing-shan. asked, "What about the machines responsible for fighting against hell and the dead?" Regretfully, on the way to the human realm, besides our 4 machines, the rest of our companions were all destroyed. Why were they destroyed? The road to the human realm is currently filled with great danger. It's not easy to come here. Are there no other reinforcements? The ancient divine armaments are still trying to think of a way to maintain Huang Quan. They haven't come. So there's only us. In other words, with just your 4 machines, there's no way to deal with hell. Right? That's right. Our 4 machines can't. Gu Qing-shan's group exchanged glances, seeing the deep disappointment in each other's eyes. "Sir, urgent news?" Impartial goddess voice came. "What is it?" Gu Qing-shan asked. The screen opened. In the desert, a huge fortress had been built. The giants were trying to leave the desert to attack the city. They have unparalleled power, capable of taking over a city with just a wave of their hand. The Federation's interstellar fleet was constantly bombarding the city with cannon fire, but didn't seem to have any effect. A particularly tall giant looked up at the sky, jumping up with all his might. He jumped up and grabbed an interstellar warship. "Embark, get down here!" The giant roared in anger. He grabbed the interstellar warship and descended from the sky. Boom! The interstellar warship crashed into the ground, causing an earth-shattering explosion. The other interstellar warships hurriedly took cover. "Ah! Living people, submit. You shall be our food from now on." The giant laughed in a frenzy. The screen flashed. A metropolis of the Fushi Empire. Giant coffins appeared out of thin air one after another. They silently hovered above the city, their numbers increasing. Strange screams of pain could be heard from inside the coffins. Following that, the screen flashed again. This time, it was the Federation's capital. The densely packed giant coffins had already covered the entire sky. 2 capitals being covered in hell. No matter how you look at it, this can't be a coincidence. Watching the scene on the screen, Gu Qing-shan took a deep breath. He forced himself to calm down and asked, "How's the frozen hell?" The screen changed again. From a satellite's perspective, the Holy Empire's territory had turned white. Ice and snow were silently devouring the country's land. "Sir, a new situation has just occurred," Impartial Goddess reported. "A new situation," Gu Qing-shan repeated. The screen flashed again. This time, it was a small country in the world. This country was experiencing an earthquake. Buildings collapsed, bridges were destroyed, people were screaming and running away. But the earthquake didn't stop. More and more skeletons were rising from the ground. These skeletons were piling up, forming a mountain of bones. The earthquake didn't stop. The skeletons were also rising from the ground. The entire process had been going on for a few hours. Who would have thought the corpse prison would also descend upon the human realm? We're done for this time. The prayer's trial machine stared at the screen and sighed dejectedly. Gu Qing-shan couldn't help but ask the prayer's trial machine, "What exactly happened in Huang Quan? Can't I even tell you a single thing?" The prayer's trial machine calmly replied, "Not telling you is for your own good," Gu Qing-shan replied. "The world is about to be destroyed. How good would I be?" The prayer's trial machine finally explained, "You can only look at the divinities, not tell them. Otherwise, as soon as you mention a particularly vicious existence, it will immediately recognize you, follow your voice, and descend upon this world. Trust me, there are some things that will instantly kill you as soon as they are used." Gu Qing-shan went silent. He stared at the 4 hells on the screen. Seems like humanity is about to go extinct this time. This world has also reached its end. Liao Xing turned to run. "What are you doing?" Yi Feili shouted. "Impartial Goddess, give me the authority. I'm going to build a new spaceship. We need to escape this planet." Liao Xing shouted as he ran. "Sir, would you like to give him the authority?" Impartial Goddess asked. Impartial Goddess explained further. "According to the current situation, it's best to escape this planet right now. Furthermore, large spaceships can easily run into space monsters, but Mr. Liao Xing has been piloting small spaceships for many years, so he has plenty of experience in spaceflight, because the chances of a small spaceship running into monsters is very low, and Mr. Liao Xing has a comprehensive warp technology. He can guarantee your survival." "And then what?" "To wander the universe, forever? Gu Qing Shan asked bleakly. Chapter 439. The Mountain Clearing. Gu Qing Shan's group watched as a small-sized interstellar warship flew into the sky. Liao Xing was heading towards the S.W. Divine Temple. As long as he has Gu Qing Shan's permission, he can immediately assemble a small-sized spaceship. Zhang Yongho spoke. The world is already like this. Sometimes facing reality is also a form of courage. He patted Gu Qing Shan's shoulder and said, "You need to make a decision soon." Gu Qing Shan nodded and looked at Yi Feili. Yi Feili hurriedly spoke. "If there's a chance to win against hell, I'm willing to follow you. But if you want to leave, please take me, my mother, as well as my wife's tombstone. That's my only request." Gu Qing Shan sighed. "I'll think about it carefully. If there's no other way, I'll have to leave." Zhang Yongho and Yi Feili exchanged glances and went silent. Gu Qing Shan walked towards the top of the mountain by himself. Looking at his back, Yi Feili asked, "Is he going to be all right?" Zhang Yongho took out his hollow brain to contact his family and said, "Regardless of what his decision is, I need to take my sister with me first." "You have a sister?" Yi Feili was surprised. My parents and girlfriend too," Zhang Yongho replied. "I also need to contact my mother." Yi Feili took out her hollow brain and said. Gu Qing Shan walked up to the top of the mountain. The night wind was gentle, very cool. If it wasn't for the clear view from the top of the mountain, allowing them to see the black mass of coffins in the sky above the capital, this would have been a very pleasant night. Gu Qing Shan leaned against a tree and sat down. He sighed deeply. "I didn't think the situation in this life would be even more dangerous than the one before." Even though he gave out cultivation scriptures as well as the free serum for martial potential, God's chosen awakening and elemental awakening, there really isn't enough time. Humanity doesn't have enough time to grow. Even if he was a sword immortal, he couldn't defeat three. No, for hells by himself. He had wanted to fuse with the cultivation world to form a world, but now it seemed that it was too late. Can't take it anymore. Was it really the last moment? His hollow brain suddenly lit up. Liao Xing's noisy voice could be heard. "Gu Qing Shan, hurry and give me the authority. I want impartial goddess to provide the materials and help me build the spaceship. Can we make it?" Gu Qing Shan asked. "Of course. Last time, I had no choice but to return because of the population problem. This time, I will definitely not make the same mistake." Liao Xing glared at him, swinging his arm. "I'm going to go all out. These bastards from hell won't be able to touch a single hair on us." Gu Qing Shan looked at Liao Xing at his spirited appearance. He smiled. "Very well, impartial goddess. Give him the authorization." "Understood," impartial goddess replied. Turning off the hollow brain, Gu Qing Shan said, "Mr. Liao is truly a hero of his generation." Impartial goddess replied, "Your Excellency wants to save this planet, while he wants to run away. The pressure is naturally different. Please don't mind it too much." Gu Qing Shan smiled. "I understand." He closed his eyes, trying his best to think of a solution. From his past life to this life, every battle, every fight, every turn of events, every scripture, even every cultivation tool, every event, Gu Qing Shan slowly went through everything in his mind. He was racking his brains, trying his best to think of a way out of this land of death. Time slowly passed. Gu Qing Shan stood still, deep in thought, facing the hell of Huang Quan. No matter if it was the past life or this life, cultivators haven't really come into contact with it. This seems to be a futile effort. Before they knew it, a night had passed. Dawn was approaching. This was the darkest time of the day. On top of the mountain, it was completely dark, without any stars or moonlight. After staying silent for so long, Gu Qing Shan still couldn't think of a solution. He began to mutter to himself. "Huang Quan really is a place where I can't do anything. What could possibly be related to Huang Quan?" Suddenly, he remembered something. The Chaoyin sword once used the thaumaturgy. Even a sea of bitterness will pass. To take a drop of forgetting river water from the black cloak skeleton. That was something that came from Huang Quan, a precious treasure that the black cloak skeleton spent over 1,000 years to obtain. "Chaoyin," Gu Qing Shan called. The Chaoyin sword appeared from the void of space. Forgetting river water, what does it do? Gu Shan asked. The Chaoyin sword continued to ring. You mean you can refine it and make it a part of yourself? The Chaoyin sword tapped its hilt and continued to ring. Refining it is very fast, and from now on, I'll be recognized by the forgetting river, able to use, even a sea of bitterness will pass inside the forgetting river. Gu Shan muttered. He smiled bitterly and slowly shook his head. Seems like the forgetting river water really is a treasure. But such a treasure can only be used on the forgetting river of Huangquan. It can't deal with the four hells of the human realm. The human realm is about to be destroyed. Wait a minute. Forgetting river. It seems that when I first returned to reality, I once checked by Hua Sek's inheritance. At the time, I looked through every single divine skill Jade tag they had. Gu Shan quickly took out the 7-colored fragrance bag. After looking through it for a bit, he took out something. It was a Jade tag. This Jade tag recorded the Samsara divine skill, Forgetting River. Gu Shan infused his inner sight into it and carefully checked. Huangquan Path Divine Skill, Forgetting River. To practice this divine skill, the following prerequisites must be met: a female cultivator, 5th stage, elemental spirit energy talent, God's chosen skill. Soul Call, Secret Art, Sealed Body Yin Shift, Secret Art. Soul Comes, Soul Goes, Samsara Divine Contract. Huangquan Ferryman. Reading through it, Gu Shan couldn't help but helplessly shake his head. I don't even meet the first condition. The last time I looked through it, I found out that I didn't meet the requirements and gave up. But I didn't remember wrong. To practice Forgetting River, there were 2 prerequisites that left a deep impression on me. Gu Shan skipped over the other parts of the divine skill and focused his inner sight on these 2 prerequisites. Secret Art, Sealed Body Yin Shift, allows you to enter a state of death, no different from any other dead person in the world. Secret Art. Soul Comes, Soul Goes. After you die, your soul will enter Huangquan and can return. Gu Shan was so excited that he held the Jade tag tightly. Within the endless darkness, he seemed to have found the only remaining ray of light in this world. This ray of light is so weak that it turned it into a sun that shines over the entire world. Gu Shan will need to go to an unknown world, take great risks to investigate, to search, to fight. But before that, I need to find the 2 keys that will unlock all of this. Those 2 keys. Gu Shan infused his inner sight into the 7-colored fragrance bag and carefully searched. After a while, he reached his hand out and found the 2 Jade tags in his hand. Scanning them with his inner sight, he confirmed that there were no mistakes. That's right, this was the solution he finally came up with. This was the chance of survival that he was desperately searching for. Secret Art, Sealed Body Yin Shift, Secret Art. Soul Comes, Soul Goes. Gu Shan held the 2 Jade tags like they were the most precious treasures in the world. A few lines of glowing text quickly appeared on the War God UI. You've discovered Secret Art, Sealed Body Yin Shift. To comprehend this secret art requires at least Ascended Realm Cultivation. 300 soul points required. You've discovered Secret Art. Soul Comes, Soul Goes. To comprehend this secret art requires at least Ascended Realm Cultivation. For 100 soul points required, which secret art do you want to comprehend? That's good. I'm already an Ascended Realm Middle Stage Cultivator, so I've met the requirements. Gu Shan silently felt lucky. He answered without hesitation. I want to comprehend both secret arts. Are you sure? I'm sure. Immediately, 2 warm streams flowed from the Jade tags into Gu Shan's palm, then along his arm into his body, finally converging at his thought sea. Gu Shan closed his eyes for a bit, silently comprehending the 2 secret arts. A few moments later, he opened his eyes. There were 2 lines of glowing text on the War God UI. You've comprehended Secret Art, Sealed Body Yin Shift, Secret Art. Soul Comes, Soul Goes. 700 soul points required. Current soul points remaining. Gu Shan looked away, staring at the endless darkness around him. Within the darkness, a small ray of light was slowly expanding. The sun had just risen. A new day had arrived. Thinking back to last night, when I asked about what happened in Huangquan, the prayers trial machine didn't even dare to answer. Because living people can't do anything to Huangquan, I instinctively didn't ask any further. But now, everything is different. Gu Qingshan stood up, muttering, "If you don't dare to tell me, then I'll go take a look myself in Huangquan." Chapter 440. What? There's no need for you to seek death? Yi Feili was shocked. Zhang Yongho looked at Gu Qingshan without saying anything. Don't misunderstand. I only found a way to let my soul leave my body and go to Huangquan, Gu Qingshan explained. Zhang Yongho and Yi Feili exchanged glances. Is that true? Yi Feili asked. It's true, Gu Qingshan very seriously answered. It was now that they were a bit convinced. What do you need us to do? Zhang Yongho finally spoke. Protect my body well, because if my body is damaged, even if my soul returns, it won't be able to enter my body. That would be true death. Can you really go to Huangquan? Yi Feili was shocked. Yes, there shouldn't be a problem, Gu Qingshan answered. Can we? You need ascended realm cultivation. I'm Qi training stage 7. I'm Qi training stage 7. If that's the case, I'll arrange for people to go, Zhang Yongho said. With a solemn expression, he continued. The Yellow Springs has driven away so many terrifying ghosts, and it seems that hell has also appeared in the human world in order to escape from the Yellow Springs. Something strange must have happened. You must be careful. Don't worry. If anything happens, I'll come back, Gu Qingshan said. Sir, please choose a place to preserve your body. I will think of a way to protect it, Impartial Goddess said. Gu Qingshan turned to look at the mountaintop mansion behind her and said, Let's do it inside the mansion. The group returned to the mansion. Zhang Yongho immediately turned on his phone and began to arrange for people to go. Yi Feili said, I'll stay here, Impartial Goddess said. I'm currently creating a protective measure for you. Please wait a moment, sir, all right? Gu Qingshan replied as she tapped her inventory bag and took out a lot of common formation plates. The Baihua sect's reserves were extremely rich, including many formation plates. Gu Qingshan took out a bunch of formation plates and divided them into large-scale offensive and defensive formations, creating a total of a few dozen large formations. In any case, he had plenty of spirit stones, so he didn't feel the slightest bit of heartache. Once the soul went to the Yellow Springs, the physical body would be extremely weak, and there would be no way to defend itself. The setup of the formation was directly related to his life, so he couldn't be stingy. Let's set it so that only living people can enter, Gu Qingshan muttered. He activated all of the formation plates. At this moment, Zhang Yongho's men arrived. Zhang Yongho started assigning tasks to the assassins. Yi Feili stood quietly next to Gu Qingshan, on high alert. Everything was ready. Gu Qingshan sat down cross-legged and began to form hand seals. Seal body, in shift, and soul comes, soul goes have to be activated at the same time, no mistakes allowed. If you use seal body in shift first, you'll die right away, unable to form any more hand seals to use soul comes, soul goes. If you use soul comes, soul goes first, your soul will leave your body and die right away, unable to revive. Gu Qingshan finished forming both hand seals at the same time, stopping in front of the last hand seal. I'm going to die. See you later, Gu Qingshan said. He circulated the spirit energy in his dantian and infused it into the two hand seals. Right away, he couldn't help but close his eyes, his hands hanging down powerlessly. Gu Qingshan's entire body lost all signs of life. He died just like that? How miraculous! Tong Tong, who was watching on the side, spat out her tongue. He's only temporarily dead. He's currently heading to Huangquan to check the situation. He'll return, Yi Feili emphasized. Everyone around couldn't help but be amazed. Zhang Yongho cleared his throat. All right, let's get to work. Although there's a miraculous defense, let's go patrol the mountain. Report to me immediately if anything happens. We need to make sure nothing goes wrong. This is saving the world. Brothers, if there's such a thing as merits, you'll probably be able to use it to go to heaven after you die, the hitmen all agreed. They've all tasted the sweetness of cultivation, and now that they've seen such a miraculous scene, they're naturally motivated and want to do everything they can for this unprecedented event. The hitmen dispersed in an orderly manner. The mansion returned to silence. Liao Xing went to the S.W. Divine Temple to assemble the new spaceship. This place was under the watch of Jang Young-ho and Yi Fei Li. What do you think? Yi Fei Li asked. Aside from us, impartial goddess is also watching from above. There shouldn't be any problems, Jang Young-ho answered. Then what about him? He can only rely on himself, Jang Young-ho sighed. That's right. No one can help him enter Huang Quan, Yi Fei Li also commented. The two of them looked at the dead Gu Qing-shan a bit worried. Suddenly, two swords appeared from the void of space. They were Gu Qing-shan's personal swords. They circled around Gu Qing-shan's body once, then suddenly started buzzing in a certain direction. A few moments later, the two swords disappeared without a trace. What's going on? Yi Fei Li was surprised. If I'm guessing, they probably followed Gu Qing-shan to Huang Quan, Jang Young-ho answered. Gu Qing-shan closed his eyes. His vision darkened. His body couldn't help but sway. First, his breathing stopped. His heartbeat slowed to a crawl. His body temperature dropped. His spirit energy retracted inside his dantian. His heartbeat stopped. At the same time, Gu Qing-shan couldn't help but open his eyes. He stood up from his own body. But there was another him sitting cross-legged in place without moving. Gu Qing-shan looked around. Tong Tong looked at him on the ground with a surprised expression. Everyone began to talk. But everyone's eyes were focused on the him sitting cross-legged. Gu Qing-shan waved her hand in front of Jang Young-ho. Jang Young-ho didn't move at all, only looking worriedly at the him sitting cross-legged on the ground. Yi Fei Li didn't look at him. There was a faint blood-red glow around her body. She was obviously very nervous. No one could see the Gu Qing-shan standing still. Gu Qing-shan understood. I'm already dead. And now, I'm in my soul form. A strange hand seal had enveloped him. Suddenly, an invisible crack appeared in the void of space. This was the power of the secret art. Soul comes, soul goes. It will guide Gu Qing-shan out of the human realm and into the space vortex. The passage to Huang Quan was inside the space vortex. That means I can go to Huang Quan now, Gu Qing-shan muttered. The earth sword suddenly jumped out from the sky and spoke with a thunderous voice. I'll go with you. After all, the situation right now is very chaotic. You're in danger. You can go as well? Gu Qing-shan asked. As soon as he asked, he recalled that the earth sword had been to the space vortex as well as Huang Quan, which means the earth sword can really go with me. Gu Qing-shan's mind relaxed a bit. For a sword cultivator, as long as they have a sword in hand, they'll feel assured. Not just me. Chao Yin is a weapon forged by the divinities. It can also go, the earth sword replied. Sure enough, the Chao Yin sword also appeared from the void of space. The fish jumped out from the Chao Yin sword, swimming around Gu Qing-shan. Chao Yin is going too? That's great. I'm starting to feel a bit more confident. Gu Qing-shan smiled. Let's go. Chapter 441. It was indescribably chaotic. Both space and time were chaotic. Everything around him was like a vast ocean. Occasionally, strange things would appear, but would quickly disappear into the unknown space vortex and disappear without a trace. This place was the space vortex. Seeing this familiar scene, Gu Qing-shan's heart sank. According to the two secret arts, the space vortex will only appear for a split second. After that, I'll be able to sense Huang Quan's location. I'll be able to follow the secret arts to find a path to Huang Quan. But I've already stayed in the space vortex for a while now, but that feeling still hasn't appeared. Why is that? Gu Qing-shan forced himself to think calmly. Right, these two secret arts lead me to the cultivation world's Huang Quan, not reality's Huang Quan. The two worlds correspond to different samsara. So, is Huang Quan different as well? Perhaps it's a long way to go to the cultivation world's Huang Quan from here. That's why as soon as I entered the space vortex, I lost that faint sense of direction. At this point, a strange power appeared. This power gently enveloped Gu Qing-shan and guided him towards a certain direction. Gu Qing-shan carefully sensed it and understood. A giant corpse that has existed for over 100,000 years. This is its power. Gu Qing-shan was a bit emotional. It revealed a lot of secrets to me last time, telling me how to deal with the 100 Flowers Fairy's death tribulation, as well as the method to fuse the worlds together. But it was struck by an unprecedented amount of lightning, so much so that it didn't contact me for a very long time. Has it recovered yet? Fine, I'll go take a look. Perhaps with its knowledge, it'll be able to give me some advice. With that in mind, Gu Qingshan allowed the power to guide him through the space vortex. Noticing his reaction, the power sped up. Gu Qingshan's speed gradually increased, passing through a black vortex in the void of space, flying over a desolate hill, carefully circling around an empty city. Countless strange and unusual creatures could be seen in the void of space. Suddenly, a cyclops wielding a huge club fled in panic. Gu Qingshan was not in a hurry to see what was chasing her. She was immediately pulled up by a force and flew vertically upwards, avoiding that place. After a long flight, he once again entered an ignorant world. It was a bronze pillar that connected heaven and earth. A huge corpse wearing black armor was nailed to the bronze pillar. The densely packed black skeletons lingered on the vast land for a long time. Gu Qingshan slowly hovered in front of the giant corpse. "You've come," a voice rang out. "Yeah, long time no see. How's your injury?" Gu Qingshan asked. "I won't die. Or rather, I'm already dead anyway. This kind of injury will at most torture me for a while. It won't make me disappear completely," the giant corpse said. "I have to thank you for what happened last time." "I finally saved someone very important to me," said Gu Qingshan. "What? Did you really do it?" the giant corpse asked in surprise. It was obviously very interested. "You took a person away from the hands of fate. Fate must have used an incomprehensible and bizarre experience to take revenge on you. Can you tell me what you went through?" "Of course I can," Gu Qingshan replied. He then told her what he went through. "How interesting. Which means you're about to replace that Zishan young master and return to a world that's about to end," the giant corpse said. "That's right, but that's not all." Gu Qingshan was a bit dejected. "What else? Look at me right now. I'm in a state of death. I left my body to search for Huang Quan, only to fall into the space vortex and find nothing." Hearing that, the giant corpse laughed in a low voice. "From what happened to you, fate's revenge is still ongoing. Do you regret saving that person now?" Gu Qingshan resolutely answered. "I don't," the giant corpse praised. "Very good, come. Let me take a closer look at your current state." A sudden gust of wind blew past Gu Qingshan's soul. "How fast! You're already ascended realm middle stage, although you're still weak. This rate of growth is shocking. What you cultivate is the way of the sword. You've already reached the realm of Sword Saint. Very good. Very good. I really didn't misjudge you." The giant corpse became serious and spoke. "You've improved very quickly. Your talent is also quite good. I think I'll need your help very soon. Just tell me. I'll help you," Gu Qingshan said. "It might be a bit dangerous." Gu Qingshan smiled. "Sometimes, even if you don't do anything, life will still be full of danger. The most important thing is that you've helped me. I won't forget that." Sensing his attitude, the giant corpse was even more satisfied. "Very well. When you break through to a higher realm, I'll find you again. No problem." The giant corpse paused a bit and asked with concern, "Leaving your body is a very dangerous thing to do. Why did you go to Huang Quan?" Gu Qingshan then told him about what happened in reality, then asked, "What do you know about Huang Quan?" The giant corpse didn't say anything for a while, as if troubled. He pondered. "The so-called samsara refers to the 6 worlds that create and destroy each other. The human realm that you're in would naturally have a corresponding world of Huang Quan. What about the other human realms?" "Of course they would correspond to other worlds of Huang Quan, but some human realms are very powerful. Their world's level is very high. So the corresponding world of Huang Quan would also be ridiculously powerful. If that's the case, the world I'm in, the corresponding world of Huang Quan, shouldn't be too powerful," the giant corpse stuttered. "You'll know when you see it for yourself. Sometimes the situation isn't the same. It might change your mind, but then again, I don't recommend you to go to Huang Quan," the giant corpse continued. "Something that could cause the entire Huang Quan to go wrong must be an extremely terrifying event. With your current cultivation, you won't be able to do anything in front of such great danger. I advise you to give up on your world, as long as there's a sliver of hope. I want to try. Otherwise, my Dao heart will become chaotic and I'll be crippled," Gu Qingshan replied. "Is that world very important to you?" That world isn't much, but there are a few people who are very important to me in that world. I don't want them to wander the universe." The giant corpse went silent for a long time. He suddenly spoke, full of emotions. "The world is hard to predict, just like how I didn't think I would end up like this. But right now, you're my only hope. If you weren't such a person, you wouldn't be worthy of me placing my hopes on you." Saying so, the giant corpse sighed emotionally. "Very well. Let me think about it." After thinking for a bit, he finally made up his mind. "You're so outstanding, from your personality to your abilities. That's why I want to hide you for a while longer. It's still too early for you to come into contact with some unique entities. The best choice is for me to pass that thing on to you." A small, unassuming piece of scale fell off from the giant corpse's jet-black armor. This piece of scale flew straight in front of Gu Qing-shan. "What is this?" Gu Qing-shan asked in surprise. "I've fought all over the 10 worlds, undefeated, not only because of my strength, but also because of a few life-saving measures. This is a very good life-saving measure. Take it and learn it. Is that so?" Gu Qing-shan received the black scale. The black scale broke off to reveal a glowing mystical rune. "Countless years ago, when I was still young, one day, I discovered this thing in an ancient ruin. It's helped me countless times. I've fully grasped it, so I'm now passing it on to you. I hope you'll learn it seriously. If you've made up your mind to go to Huangquan, this technique might be able to help you." Gu Qing-shan seriously listened as her gaze fell onto the mystical rune. A line of glowing text was scrolling past the war god UI. Chapter 442. Reading this line of text on the war god UI, Gu Qing-shan was a bit surprised. After living 2 lives, this is the first time he's heard of a mystery. Only to see on the war god UI, the system was explaining this unique mystery one after another. The system has never treated any technique so seriously before. Mystery of all beings equal. You will learn how to distinguish the most basic components of each existence, obtaining the ability to change yourself into that existence. Description: you must obtain the components of that existence to distinguish its characteristics and laws in order to disguise yourself as that existence. Attention, please. Attention, please. War God System Unique Explanation. There are 2 options to learn this mystery. First, using spirit energy as the foundation to learn this mystery. The user will obtain the appearance of that existence, as well as the same presence and spirit energy waves as that existence. The same kind of existence will not be able to distinguish between you and the real you. Second, using soul points as the foundation to learn this mystery. The user will temporarily become an existence with the same essence as that existence. Attention, the existence mentioned here must have a soul. Attention, you must immediately make a choice to determine the basic source of power to learn this mystery. Attention, once you choose the basic source of power, you will never be able to change it. After reading through, Gu Qing-shan went silent for a bit. Normally, using spirit energy as a disguise would be enough. But Gu Qing-shan thought further and further. He asked, "System, does same essence mean that I'll become that existence?" "Correct. You will temporarily become that existence," the system quickly replied. The system surprisingly explained further. This mystery was originally held in the hands of a very small number of unique existences, but even such unique existences could only use a power similar to spirit energy as the foundation to learn this mystery. Soul points is divine power, the purest power from the world's origin. No one in the 10 worlds knows about it. The only correct way to learn this mystery is to use soul points. The system recommends that you use soul points to learn this mystery. Gu Qing-shan nodded. This was exactly what he was thinking. "I choose soul points as my basic power," he said. The system replied. "This mystery is a precious secret hidden deep within the laws of the world. To learn this mystery, please pay 2,000 soul points. So many." Gu Qing-shan sucked in a breath of cold air. She gritted her teeth and said, "Pay." Received 2,000 soul points. Using remaining soul points to comprehend the mystery, the shining profound runes suddenly scattered into specks of light. These faint starlights circled around Gu Qing-shan for a while and finally disappeared into the space between his eyebrows. Gu Qing-shan closed her eyes and quietly experienced it. This was a technique that contained the mysteries of the origin of countless worlds. Gu Shan only needed to comprehend it quietly, but it was already an eye-opener for her. This was a subversive and huge gain of knowledge that stemmed from the very foundation of cognition. Gu Shan's understanding of cultivation and power became deeper. He had a better understanding of the operating rules of spiritual power and all other types of power. The laws of life and death of all living beings in the world appeared in his mind. Gu Shan suddenly understood. As a soul, he had unknowingly reached the soul formation late stage. He was confident that as soon as he returned to his body, he would be able to advance to the soul formation late stage right away. Just by comprehending this mystery, he was able to reach this step. Gu Shan himself was a bit shocked. While he was silently comprehending the mystery, the giant corpse was also telling him, "You're a cultivator. You can use spirit energy to practice this technique and learn how to disguise yourself. Perhaps you'll have a better chance of surviving in Huang Quan." Gu Shan quickly thought about it. The giant corpse really doesn't know that I have soul points, and I'm also using soul points to practice this mystery. Thank you. I know this is a very precious item. I'll remember this favor. He solemnly clasped his fist and bowed. No need to thank me. I'm still hoping that when you become stronger, you'll be able to save me from this place. The giant corpse smiled. It then continued. The power I've accumulated is about to run out. I won't be able to keep you here for much longer. You'll have to leave this place soon. One last question. I can't find the corresponding Huang Quan in my world. What do I do now? Gu Shan hurriedly asked. The giant corpse replied. No matter how chaotic Huang Quan is, it won't completely lose its connection to reality. There should be some sort of guiding force, Gu Shan replied. But that force has disappeared, the giant corpse replied. In the human realm, this connection might be temporarily concealed, but within the space vortex, the power of the samsara would definitely not be concealed. So you need to stay at the entrance of the space vortex and silently sense this connection. Specifically, you will feel a faint pulling force within the space vortex. Follow this pulling force to the entrance of Huang Quan. You'll see a large, dark cave that leads downwards. Make sure to stay within that dark cave. Do not take any other paths, because there are other paths around Huang Quan. If you take the wrong path, you'll never be able to return. Gu Shan carefully remembered what the other party said. He nodded and sincerely said, "Then I'll be going if I don't die. One day I'll definitely come back to save you." The giant corpse suddenly said, "You need to quickly become stronger. I can sense some sort of eerie monster. This monster is scarier than any monster that has ever appeared. It's slowly approaching the world that's imprisoning me." Gu Shan froze. This was the first time he heard despair from the giant corpse's mouth. Up until now, the other party had helped him a lot. And now, the other party was about to face danger. Gu Shan became serious. He quickly asked, "What level of strength do I need to reach in order to deal with that monster you're talking about? Or rather, what do I need to do to save you?" The giant corpse sighed. "I'm not sure either, because I still haven't seen that monster." Gu Shan went silent. "Don't worry. I'll quickly become stronger and come back to save you," he resolutely declared. The giant corpse didn't say anything, but Gu Shan felt that he seemed to be smiling. "I hope we'll be able to meet again," the giant corpse finally said. "Ho!" A strong pulling force came over. Gu Shan was abruptly pulled out of the 100,000-year-old giant corpse's world. He was sent flying back like a streak of light. This time, his speed was even faster than when he got up. The strange scenery around him all turned into streaks of light. Almost in the blink of an eye, Gu Shan had once again returned to the space vortex. Gu Shan pondered for a bit, then formed a hand seal again. A crack appeared in the void of space. He went through and landed in the living room of the mountaintop mansion. Zhang Yongho and Yi Fei Li were sitting on either side of his body. The two of them watched over him with a serious expression. Gu Shan went in through the top of his head. He opened his eyes. The other two immediately sensed it. Gu Shan said, "Keep an eye on the surroundings for me." He didn't explain anything else and entered a meditative state. After studying mystery of all beings equal, his understanding of cultivation, swordsmanship, as well as the world as a whole had changed. This was a type of understanding. With this understanding alone, he couldn't stop himself from breaking through Ascended Realm middle stage to Ascended Realm late stage. Gu Qing Shan closed his eyes, circulating the spirit energy around his body to carefully stabilize his cultivation. The spirit energy waves of someone who had just broken through to Ascended Realm late stage were fluctuating wildly, extremely chaotic. Gu Qing Shan has to be careful and make sure his limbs and bones get used to the sudden increase in cultivation as soon as possible. Once he's done stabilizing his cultivation and made the necessary preparations, he'll be able to face his tribulation and pursue a higher realm. That was Sainted Realm. That was the realm that countless players in the past life dreamed of. Time slowly passed. Gu Qing Shan finally opened his eyes. How is it? Are you okay? What's Huang Quan like? Zhang Young-ho and Yi Fei Li both asked. Something else happened. I haven't gone to Huang Quan yet. Gu Qing Shan took out a spirit-replenishing pill and put it in his mouth. His hands formed another hand seal and performed 2 secret arts. The hand seals were completed. This time, I'm really going, he said. Zhang Young-ho and Yi Fei Li exchanged glances and nodded. Chapter 443. After Gu Qing Shan left, the mountaintop mansion once again fell silent. How do you feel? Zhang Young-ho suddenly asked. That's hard to say, Yi Fei Li replied. He crossed his arms, mimicking Gu Qing Shan, sitting cross-legged and tilted his head to one side. I just can't accept it. I'm supposed to be the strongest man in this world, Zhang Young-ho cut him off. Other than Gu Qing Shan and I, the strongest, Zhang Young-ho continued. I'm also a bit envious of him. As a hitman, I still don't know what it's like to die after a bit of silence. Yi Fei Li couldn't help but add, if I'm strong enough, I'll also be able to go to Huang Quan. That's right, such an interesting thing. The 3 of us should do it together, Zhang Young-ho commented. Yi Fei Li looked at him and said, if you want to fight alongside Gu Qing Shan, you need to quickly increase your cultivation. Look at you, you're only Qi training stage 7-inch. You're only a foundation establishment. Regardless, I'm stronger than you. Foundation establishment is still far from being able to compare to Gu Qing Shan. Regardless, I'm stronger than you, say. You man killer fiend. Can't you just talk nicely? Gu Qing Shan left the human realm and entered the space vortex again. He didn't look around anymore. Simply stood there and carefully sensed the changes around him. Not long after, a faintly discernible force gradually appeared from all directions. Gu Qing Shan's heart skipped a beat. This power slowly enveloped him and pulled him down into the space vortex. But Gu Qing Shan stood still. In his vision, a few lines of glowing text appeared. Detected that the user has triggered an unprecedented world storyline. Detected that the user's cultivation has reached Ascended Realm late stage. Current conditions meet activation criteria. Activate. World collapsing battle. After Gu Qing Shan finished reading it, the lines of glowing text instantly disappeared. A streak of light flashed across the War God UI, turning into lines of blood-red text in the middle. To shatter the chains of fate and change the course of history, player Gu Qing Shan has entered the Destiny Quest. Quest description. The world is on the verge of irreparable collapse, but you were able to travel to Huang Quan to search for the cause of this calamity. This has given the entire world a rare chance to reverse its collapse. Quest objective. Please do everything you can to save the Huang Quan realm and the human realm. After the quest is completed, you will receive a unique storyline reward. War God's Thaumaturgy, Sainted Realm. If the quest fails, the player will be teleported away and will never be able to return to the real world. Gu Qing Shan stood at the entrance of the space vortex, silently looking at the War God UI. I'll be teleported away, unable to return to the real world? Gu Qing Shan said. Ding! The War God UI replied. That's right. If the quest fails, your only chance of survival is to immediately return to another space-time, which is the space tunnel between Shenwu World and another world. Gu Qing Shan went silent. I can't come back if I fail. I won't be able to see those familiar faces again. He sighed and casually said, I won't fail. The War God UI continued. Also, attention user, from now on, the user can spend 100 soul points to temporarily activate the detection function. Detection function? Gu Qing-shan asked. That's right. There are too many monsters and demons in the space vortex that you don't know about. Using the detection function will help you understand the changes in your current situation, the system replied. This function will be removed after the user enters Huang Quan. That's a good idea. I'll pay 100 soul points, Gu Qing-shan said. Right. Aside from detection, can the system help me kill monsters? He asked again. Defeating enemies requires the player's own effort. The system can't do that for you. Also, please pay attention to your face. Thank you, the system replied. Ah. All right, Gu Qing-shan regretfully said. Gu Qing-shan moved along the direction of the slight pulling force. As time passed, the pulling force became stronger and stronger, making it easier for him to tell which direction to go. The wind of the void faintly formed a vertical tunnel downwards. Gu Qing-shan decided to jump and fell down into the space vortex like a meteor. The entire process of falling was very long. The wind in the space vortex became even more turbulent. Downwards and downwards. Gu Qing-shan was falling with the wind. His speed was getting faster and faster. It felt like he was falling down a waterfall into an abyss. Along the way, many strange and unusual things flashed by. But Gu Qing-shan was too fast. Even those terrifying things couldn't stop him in time. Gu Qing-shan's mind moved. The Earth Sword and Xiao Yin's sword appeared from the void of space, circling around him. Whenever a monster appeared, Gu Qing-shan would immediately assume a defensive stance. He had to be careful. Entering Huang Quan as a soul, this was an experience he had never experienced before. After falling for over 2 hours, Gu Qing-shan's speed was gradually slowing down. Below him was a dark cave several thousand meters wide. Gu Qing-shan silently hovered above the cave. As a single soul, he appeared extremely small as he hovered above the cave. The dark cave was surrounded by flowing gray water. Looking up, he could see a few other caves in the distance. Some of these caves were giving off black smoke, while others were screaming and laughing. There was even one cave that was giving off a 5-colored glow and beautiful singing. Gu Qing-shan didn't casually move, nor did he try to check it out of curiosity. Now that he was here, he was extremely cautious. The giant corpse had warned him that if he entered the wrong place, he wouldn't be able to return. After sensing for a while, Gu Qing-shan confirmed that the pulling force was coming from the dark cave below him. Even so, he still didn't move. His gaze fell onto the edge of the cave. Out of nowhere, a hand appeared there. A giant hand. Even the fingernail was bigger than Gu Qing-shan. After this hand appeared, another hand quickly appeared. Both hands grabbed the edge of the cave and pulled. At this time, a notification popped up on the War God UI. Discovered Faceless Giant, Chaotic Type Demon. Power equivalent to a Rejuvenation Realm late stage Cultivator. Then, a head shrouded in chaotic mist emerged from the black hole. From the looks of it, it was a chaotic type demon. It's the Faceless Giant. Gu Qing-shan was very surprised. This is the entrance to Huang Quan. Why would there be a faceless giant here? And from the looks of it, it wasn't an out-of-body experience, but rather its real body that entered Huang Quan. Only souls can enter Huang Quan. How did it do that? At this point, the Faceless Giant noticed him and roared. Gu Qing-shan's mind moved. The Xiao Yin sword flew out, turning into a crescent moon white sword phantom towards the Faceless Giant. The crescent moon white sword phantom circled around the Faceless Giant's neck. The Faceless Giant's head fell into the black cave. Following that, its entire body fell in. Gu Qing-shan didn't look happy at all. Something's wrong. He looked at the large black cave. In the cave, light and shadows were moving. The airflow was unstable. Various chaotic auras and movements could be felt. Chapter 444. As Gu Qing-shan sensed the presence of the dark tunnel, he realized. So that's what it is. The demons have taken over the path between the human realm and Huang Quan. He said, System, please help me check if there are any unknown demons in this tunnel. Countless unknown demons detected. Checking one at a time is too complicated and will greatly affect the battle. If you want to switch to real-time detection, please pay 10 soul points per second, the system replied. 10 soul points per second? That's a bit expensive, Gu Qingshan thought for a bit. But the demons I'm facing right now are all demons that have never appeared in both the real world and the cultivation world. If I don't have any information, I'll be at a disadvantage in battle. Gu Qingshan checked his 2,100 soul points and nodded. All right, let's begin. Following his words, the War God UI began to let out a series of beeping sounds. A few lines of glowing text appeared on the War God UI. War God UI is entering detection mode, synchronizing with user's inner sight, connecting with user's inner sight, beginning to establish information system. User can now check the type and strength of monsters in real time. Gu Qingshan checked himself and found that he hadn't changed at all. He asked in confusion, how do I start the detection? Just like normal, use your inner sight to scan. You'll be able to see the type and description of the monster, the system replied. That convenient? Gu Qingshan frowned in surprise. He released his inner sight and scanned the dark tunnel. A grayish-white, snake-like monster reached out its claws to grab onto the vertical wall, silently hiding in the shadows of the tunnel. This monster has no eyes, no scales on its body. Its entire body seems to be soaked in water, dripping wet. It turned its head towards Gu Qingshan's direction, using its two nostrils to sniff something. As Gu Qingshan scanned the monster with his inner sight, a notification popped up in his mind. Darkblood Demon Serpent, a demon that specializes in fighting in the space vortex and the Devil's Realm. Strength comparable to an Ascended Realm late-stage cultivator. This Darkblood Demon Serpent is the same realm as Gu Qingshan. Gu Qingshan's inner sight went past this monster and continued to scan deeper. The dark cave was filled with demons. They were densely packed and endless, occupying the entire cavern. Bone-devouring demon frog, specialized in dealing with demons from the Huangquan path and the Hungry Ghost path. Its specialty is spitting out sticky substances. Its strength is equivalent to an Ascended Realm middle stage, sharp-boned demon, a demon that fights in close combat. Its bones are the sharpest and can cut through spells of the 5 elements. Its strength is equivalent to a late original level cultivator. 100-clawed giant worm. The detailed information of countless monsters appeared in her mind, but it did not affect Gu Qingshan's thinking at all. At this time, Gu Qingshan felt as if he had fought against these demons for countless years. He knew every type of monster like the back of his hand. Not a bad experience, he commented. You get what you pay for, the system replied. In Gu Qingshan's spiritual will, the Darkblood Demon Serpent was quietly moving towards his direction. In a few breaths, the demonic flood dragon was right below him. The demonic Jiao raised its head and stared at him in the darkness. Gu Qingshan waved her hand and held the earth sword. He held the Chao Yin sword with a backhand grip. Both swords in hand, Gu Qingshan disappeared. Sha! The Darkblood Demon Serpent was struck by his sword. Feeling the pain, the demonic flood dragon jumped up from the wall of the cave. The moment before it jumped, it was already dead. The Darkblood Demon Serpent's body flipped in the air, its bones and limbs scattered, turning into a black mist of blood. The bloody mist floated up along with the chilly wind, blowing from the cave. Gu Qingshan sheathed her sword. With a single strike, she killed a Darkblood Demon Serpent of the same level. With such ease, if anyone else was watching, they would find it hard to believe. Truthfully, Gu Qingshan was a sword cultivator who specialized in combat. Not to mention she had lightning spirit energy, so she naturally had an advantage when it came to killing demons. Lightning spirit energy, also known as smiting, can increase a cultivator's damage by 30% against demons. Another 30% increase in strength from an Ascended Realm late-stage cultivator would be equivalent to a Ascended Realm early-stage cultivator. In other words, when facing demons, Gu Qingshan's strength would be equivalent to a Ascended Realm Sword Saint. Gu Qingshan stood straight on the wall of the cave. Black blood flowed down her swords. This seemed to have provoked the demons. They madly rushed towards Gu Qingshan. Gu Shan's inner sight scanned through each and every one of the demons, recalling their characteristics in his mind. 3 more monsters rushed up the wall, opening their mouths to bite him. Gu Shan's swords moved. Countless sword phantoms pierced through the darkness, exploding everywhere. The monsters were cut to pieces, scattered by the wind of the swords. Inside the dark cave, it felt like it was raining blood. The stench of blood from the corpses of the demons caused even more demons to become vicious, roaring and roaring. A roar, followed by a wave of ferocious roars. At once, the entire dark cave trembled. More and more demons sensed the presence of Gu Shan's soul. This was what they were craving. They all began to move. All the demons in the dark cave were like boiling water, rushing up to the top of the cave at high speed. Gu Shan suddenly stood still on the wall. He set his title skill to Ace Hitman, then released his inner sight to scan through all the monsters. At this point, a few dozen monsters had already climbed up. "You're guarding the entrance to hell, but you didn't go to hell to take a look." Gu Shan observed the monsters and commented. The monsters roared and surrounded him. Not even a drop of water could escape. More and more of them were rushing up. Any soul that tried to enter Huang Quan would be devoured by them in this cave. They've already gotten used to waiting for their prey. In the darkness, Gu Shan muttered, "Seeing how dedicated you are, I'll personally send you off." Before he finished speaking, a flower of darkness appeared out of thin air on the rock wall. Sword phantoms bloomed, secret art drawn shadow. All the sword phantoms scattered, turning into black streaks of light. The demons felt like they were in a meat grinder. Their flesh and blood were being chopped off bit by bit. Blood rained down like rain. "You've obtained 10 soul points. You've obtained 17 soul points. You've obtained 8 soul points. You've killed the other in 1 strike. Spirit energy has been returned. You've killed the other in 1 strike. Spirit energy has been returned. You've killed the other in 1 strike. Spirit energy has been returned." Gu Shan sheathed his sword and looked down at the cave. The several thousand meters wide cave was filled to the brim with demons. They were drenched in blood and flesh, but they still couldn't wait to rush up and devour the delicious souls. Gu Shan's mind moved and released the earth sword. His war god title also changed to UG General. "Kill as you please. I don't believe any demons could take a single hit from you," Gu Shan said. "Got it," the earth sword spoke. Like a streak of light, the sword flew straight at the demons. In reality, without a sword cultivator's sword style, a normal flying sword can't block an enemy. Unless it's a flying sword with a weapon spirit, the sword spirit can easily control the sword and perform basic attacks. The earth sword moved on its own, flying straight down. Slash! Slash! Quickly slash! Besides slashing, the earth sword didn't do anything else. But in the entire dark cave, not a single demon could take a single slash of the earth sword's 86,370,000 tons. Gu Shan stood in the air. He was leisurely watching the earth sword slaying demons. On the war god UI, the notifications of combat notifications kept popping up. "You've obtained 17 soul points. You've obtained 11 soul points. You've obtained 21 soul points." Even though detecting demons costs 10 soul points per second, after an hour of killing, Gu Shan's soul points had returned to 3,000. Gu Shan was very satisfied with this. After a while, he suddenly put the earth sword away. The bustling demons were all gone. This caused some of the more secretive presences in the void of space to show themselves. Gu Shan's expression became serious. At some point, the entire dark cave became silent. Gu Shan was very sure that he didn't kill all the demons. In his mind, he saw a few demons whose cultivation bases were too low, sticking to the rock wall, motionless. Looking at their fearful expressions, if he were to move a few times, they'd be scared and run away. Gu Shan lightly tapped his foot and flew down into the cave. Chapter 445. Gu Shan stuck close to the wall as he flew downwards. Cold wind filled the entire dark cave, occasionally erupting from the depths of the ground and howling towards the top of the cave. A lingering shadow appeared in Gu Qingshan's heart. A line of glowing text appeared on the War God UI, reminding him of his current situation. Currently passing through the Huang Quan Passage. The path ahead has been blocked by demons. Please wait for confirmation before moving forward. Confirmation complete. The strongest demon ahead is an Ascended Realm late stage. Please fight as hard as you can. Gu Qingshan released his inner sight and moved forward with his sword in hand. At the same realm, killing is the easiest thing for him. Even if it's a Sainted Realm cultivator, with Gu Qingshan's sword saint level fighting prowess, he should be able to put up a fight. Not too long after, the second battle ended. Gu Qingshan continued to go deeper. He held the Earth Sword and Chao Yin's sword in hand, not letting them go. He couldn't help but take a defensive stance as he moved forward. Time slowly passed. After a while, Gu Qingshan suddenly stopped. There was nothing within the range of his inner sight. But Gu Qingshan silently retreated a few feet. It wasn't until he felt a bit more assured that he stopped. He carefully crouched down on the wall, carefully sensing the faint existence that was drifting about in the darkness. The darkness seemed to have become a tangible substance, deep and silent. After a while, Gu Qingshan finally sensed an unknown presence. Right, this is the presence that's making me feel uneasy. He carefully used his inner sight to wrap around the presence, carefully checking it. Without any warning, a feeling that could cause one to fall into a trance suddenly appeared. It was the same feeling he felt when the guillotine chopped down on him. This kind of terrifying feeling suddenly arrived, fiercely attacking his entire soul. If it was someone who's never felt this before, they might be able to quickly escape from it. After all, there's only a tiny bit of this presence. But Gu Qingshan didn't escape right away. He was trembling madly, because it was too sudden, because he already knew what kind of existence was waiting for him at the bottom of the cave. Gu Qingshan looked down. Below, in the depths of the dark cave, which was extremely far away from him, the faint aura emitted from the demon god's body was once again blown up by the cold wind. This aura continued to invade Gu Qingshan's senses, causing him to recall some things that happened too long ago. How unexpected! Gu Qingshan muttered in a low voice. He took a deep breath and exhaled. Finally, he regained his composure. In his previous life, the moment when he perished together with the demon god would forever remain in his heart. He had never forgotten the aura of the demon god. He had never forgotten the feeling that the demon god gave off. He would never allow himself to forget anything related to the demon god. Forgetting the past meant betrayal. Gu Qingshan woke up from the past. He began to think about whether he should continue this exploration or not. The demon lord was guarding the Yellow Springs passage. This was almost unsolvable. Suddenly, a voice came from the darkness not far away. Save me. His voice was as soft as a mosquito's, filled with extreme despair, as if he would die in the next second. Gu Qingshan was a bit surprised. From where the voice came from, the person calling for help was very far away from the demon lord, but very close to Gu Qingshan. Gu Qingshan didn't move forward, instead retreated as fast as he could, heading back the way he came. At the same time, 2 new lines of notification appeared on the War God UI. Currently passing the last section of a Yellow Springs passage, the notification suddenly turned blood red. There is a demon lord ahead. If the player goes there, being killed instantly is the only outcome. Gu Qingshan retreated and retreated until he reached a place he felt was safe. He crouched down on top of a vertical rock wall and put the Chao Yin sword on the ground. Go bring that person here. Be careful. Don't let them find out, Gu Qingshan whispered. The Chao Yin sword let out a woo-woo sound, stuck close to the rock wall, and silently flew down. After an unknown amount of time, the Chao Yin sword brought a person back. When it was about 20 meters away from Gu Qingshan, the Chao Yin sword stopped. Gu Qingshan released his inner sight to check on the other party. This person was like a melted candle, only able to crawl on the ground, unable to do anything like a normal human. Ooh, oi! The other party was making hurried noises, but his condition was getting worse. He couldn't even speak properly anymore. You can't be saved, Gu Qingshan whispered. Sword phantoms continued to flash. Countless tiny sword phantoms moved at the same time, slicing the person into a puddle of blood. A faint figure appeared from the puddle of blood. It was a soul. As soon as the soul appeared, the first thing he did was look at his own body. When he found out that he was really dead, he immediately showed a look of joy. The soul spoke to Gu Qing Shan. "You've helped me a lot. I'll soon be transported back by a preset spell. So let's keep this short. No need to be so polite. Why are you here? Or with your body?" Gu Qing Shan asked. The soul replied, "For the past few months, I've been coming here every once in a while to study the demons." Gu Qing Shan couldn't believe it. There are countless types of demons. How could you do such a thing? Aren't you afraid of running into a demon that you can't win against? The soul sighed. "It wasn't until the moment of my death that I realized that I was too immersed in studying the unknown, forgetting the dangers of the unknown. Thank you for killing me, so that I wouldn't have to become a part of that demon lord. This is a great favor that I can't repay. So, is there anything I can help you with? How did you enter this place with your body?" This is a very crude method." The soul showed a puzzled expression. "Because I don't know how to use my soul to leave my body, I had no choice but to come here with my body. Actually, it's even more dangerous to come here with your body, because it's too easy to get hurt or killed." Gu Qing Shan nodded. The soul seemed to have sensed something and said, "I have to return to my own world. I prepared a backup vessel for my soul there. To repay you, before I leave, I'll tell you a secret. Please tell me." The soul briefly organized his words and spoke. "After countless years of research, I believe that there is a unique thing that is helping the demons." "A unique thing?" "Yes, it's an indescribable existence that can help demons grow faster. Fiendish demons of different levels have different things like this." "What exactly is the thing that you're talking about?" "I don't know either, but that thing definitely exists." The soul's expression was filled with fear. "That's right, that thing definitely exists. Definitely." He chanted a long incantation. Ting, the sound of metal hitting the ground. Gu Qing Shan looked back, only to see a small metal seal rolling on the ground a few times. The metal seal jumped up by itself and hovered in front of the soul. "I have to go. This is the emblem of our Spire's guardian. Unless it's a great favor, we would never reveal it to anyone. Take it. If you ever meet one of our people, show this to him. He will definitely help you. I really have to go. Goodbye." With a small sound, the soul disappeared. The metal seal slowly flew in front of Gu Qing Shan. Gu Qing Shan caught it. On the emblem, there was a dark tower, towering over a red plain. As Gu Qing Shan looked at this spire, he felt it was a bit familiar. "This seems to be the same lighthouse I saw when I went through the space vortex towards the giant black corpse's world." Which means there are existences that took root in the space vortex. Gu Qing Shan put the emblem away and began to think about what the man said before he left. "Helping the demons grow faster." Gu Qing Shan mused. With a flash of inspiration, he recalled a not-so-distant past of Baihua sect. Before the semester examination, the master and disciple of Baihua sect once talked about demons. Qin Shaolu sighed. "A few sainted realm demons would pop up from time to time, but our human race only has 3 sainted realm cultivators after so many years. I really don't understand. Is it really that easy for demons to reach sainted realm?" Qin Shaolu was a bit annoyed. At the time, 100 Flowers Fairy continued. "Sainted realm demons win purely through sheer numbers. A single one of them isn't even enough for me to fight with one hand." Sorrow and Xinyuan also felt the same. "We really can't do anything about it. We're clearly stronger than them, but there's too many of them. We can't defeat them all at once. Not to mention, we can't use our full strength. Otherwise, if anything goes wrong and one of us dies, humanity's strength as a whole will greatly decrease. It's very dangerous. That's also why we don't act rashly." Those were 100 Flowers Fairy's own words. At the time, Gu Qing Shan had only just joined the sect, so he didn't think too much of it after hearing it. But now, deep inside the dark tunnel, he heard a different kind of doubt from a soul from another world. Gu Qing Shan finally faced this question. "Demons, there's something helping them," he muttered in a low voice. Chapter 446. In the dark tunnel, Gu Qing Shan was stuck in a stalemate. For now, he decided not to think about the demon's secret anymore, because he's about to face a huge problem. Deep inside the tunnel of Huang Quan, there's a terrifying demon lord. The demon lord guards the passage. No soul can pass through it to reach Huang Quan. After thinking about it, Gu Qingshan decided to take a risk. If he can't even reach Huang Quan, the only thing left for humanity is destruction. He searched on a rock wall and found a long bone that was pierced deeply into the crevice of the rock. Putting his hand on the bone, Gu Qingshan activated Mystery of All Beings Equal. A few lines of glowing text quickly appeared in front of his eyes. Analyzing the sharp-boned demon's body composition. Pay 1,000 soul points, you'll understand this demon's body composition and temporarily become the same demon as the sharp-boned demon. 1,000 soul points. Gu Qingshan clicked his tongue. Mystery of All Beings Equal uses too much soul points. At this time, a notification popped up on the War God UI. As there aren't many Ascended Realm late-stage demons left in the Dark Tunnel, please use your soul points wisely. Gu Qingshan understood right away. I'm running out of soul points to replenish. Normally, there's a dividing line between demon and human cultivators. That's Sainted Realm. Above Sainted Realm. Because human cultivators have a grasp of the laws of the world, their thaumaturgy has also reached a certain level, allowing them to easily beat demons of the same rank. But below Sainted Realm, human cultivators of the same rank can't win against demons. A normal Ascended Realm late-stage cultivator can't win against the Dark Blood Demon Serpent. The Dark Blood Demon Serpent can resist normal elemental spells. Its mouth contains spirit energy corroding venom. Its body strength is unparalleled. Its speed even faster than an Ascended Realm late-stage martial cultivator. It can be considered a demon that's higher than Ascended Realm late-stage, infinitely close to Sainted Realm. Even two Ascended Realm late-stage cultivators together can't win against it. They can only run away. Because of that, the system recognized the Dark Blood Demon Serpent as an existence higher than normal Ascended Realm cultivators. According to the War God system's rules, the system left the soul points obtained from killing the Dark Blood Demon Serpent to Gu Qingshan. The reason why Gu Qingshan could kill them so easily was because he had the battle experience of 2 lifetimes. He had the fighting strength of a sword immortal, 2 legendary longswords, and a divine skill like ground shrink. Apart from that, he also had smite, which increased his damage by 30%. With the system's monster detection, he could discover the Dark Blood Demon Jiao Dragon in advance. If it was anyone else, they wouldn't be able to meet so many conditions. But in the passage, the fierce demons like the Dark Blood Demon Serpent had already been killed off by him. Gu Qingshan hesitated for a moment before sighing. I have no choice but to use this amount of soul points. Turn off the detection function. I have some confidence in dealing with these demons. Understood, the system replied. Currently, Gu Qingshan's only way to get to the Yellow Springs through the Dark Den was to disguise herself as a demon. Gu Qingshan asked, System, how long can my disguise last? The system replied, if you use spirit energy as a disguise, there's a time limit. But if you use soul points as a disguise, it will essentially change your body's composition. As long as you don't remove it, there is no time limit. Congratulations, the user. You were able to reach this level by using the correct power to practice this mystery. That's more like it. Gu Qingshan clenched his teeth and decided, fine, I'll pay the soul points. The user has chosen to pay the soul points. The user can begin to comprehend the sharp-boned demon's body composition. The system will release soul points at an appropriate time for you to use. Very well. Gu Qingshan silently stood there. He looked at the bone in his hand and tried to sense it using Mystery of All Beings Equal. Slowly, he found that he could completely understand the composition of this bone. He even knew how to use the power of the world origin to create the bone. This kind of understanding is something that only a god could do. Soul points. Gu Qingshan couldn't help but say, I need soul points to create the laws and form my body. Saying so, 1,000 soul points were deducted from his soul points. Very quickly, Gu Qingshan felt a bit itchy. Itchy? Why would I feel itchy? As a soul, I shouldn't be able to feel this. Gu Shan looked down. A body made entirely of bones. Each of his 4 claws were gleaming sharp blades. This was his body. Unlike normal sharp-boned demons, his body was much more slender and balanced. Gu Shan sensed himself. Other than spirit energy, a completely new power had manifested inside his body. He tried to channel that power and infused it into his sharp claws. His claws slid through the rock wall, giving off a sense of pleasure similar to cutting through tofu. 5 deep marks were carved into the rock wall. What a world mystery secret technique. It actually allowed me to disguise myself as a sharp-boned demon. Gu Shan muttered to himself. No, it's not a disguise. I'm a sharp-boned demon. Gu Shan tried to move his body. There were no obstacles. It was as if he naturally knew how to move a demon of this level. Gu Shan cautiously stood still and trained himself according to his memory of the sharp-boned demon's fighting style. After a while, he finally stopped to rest. He had basically grasped the sharp-boned demon's fighting style. Gu Shan didn't hesitate and quickly moved towards the bottom of the Huang Quan passage. Miraculously, he naturally moved according to the sharp-boned demon style. Using his sharp claws to pierce the rock wall, he used both his hands and feet to crawl deeper into the cave. Will this work? Will I really not be seen through? Gu Shan was a bit doubtful. The most important thing right now is to find a demon and see how it reacts to him. Unfortunately, he had already killed all the demons nearby, so for a long time, no other demons appeared. He could only continue to crawl deeper into the cave. He came to the place where he heard the cry for help last time. The monster finally showed up. It was a green 100-legged worm. This monster isn't particularly strong, but its sense of smell is extremely sharp, able to detect human corpses from afar. What it likes to eat the most are fleshy corpses. The 100-legged worm seemed to have sensed the aura of death that was produced when the man died. It sped up and climbed up the cave. Gu Shan stopped and used the sharp claws on his hands and feet to hold onto the rock wall. He stared at the 100-legged worm without moving. The 100-legged worm sensed his stare. It glanced at him. Gu Shan is currently disguised as a sharp-boned demon. His body is full of bones, and he's also a demon, so of course he wouldn't be on its menu. The 100-legged worm didn't mind and continued to climb upwards. A few moments later, the 100-legged worm and Gu Shan passed by. Nothing happened. It didn't attack Gu Shan. Gu Shan was stunned for a bit, then turned around to look at the 100-legged worm. The 100-legged worm was still sticking its head up, stretching its neck to climb upwards. From the direction it was heading towards where the person just died. Gu Shan tried his best to remain calm. How about, he turned around and opened his sharp claws. His claws cut through the 100-legged worm's body as easily as cutting through tofu. Caught off guard, the 100-legged worm was cut apart by the sharp-boned demon. It didn't even have the time to let out a scream before it died. Gu Shan stood in front of the 100-legged worm's body, staring at his own claws. I've turned into a demon and fooled a demon's eyes. It was worth it to use soul points. Mystery of all beings equal. How unbelievable. Gu Shan's confidence was greatly boosted. He turned around and headed deeper into the Huang Quan cave. On the way, there were countless monsters of all shapes and sizes. Gu Shan walked past the monsters one by one. None of the monsters paid attention to him. As Gu Shan squeezed his way through the crowd of demons, none of the stronger ones seemed to care about him. There was only one time when his claws accidentally touched a monster and left a deep gash on its body. The monster chased after him for a while before finally giving up. Gu Shan continued to head deeper into the dark cave. As he went deeper, the vertical path slowly turned into a slope. They walked for a while more. The slope turned into a flat road. Another line of glowing text appeared on the War God UI. Attention! A Demon Lord grade demon weapon has appeared ahead. Gu Shan's heart tightened. In truth, he could already feel it. The endless killing intent was becoming stronger and stronger, almost like a stream of water that filled the entire void of space. Fortunately, this kind of intent passed through his body and avoided him. as if the other party had recognized him as one of their own. Gu Shan held his breath and continued forward. Finally, in the dark abyss, he met the demon god head-on. It was a giant that was almost a kilometer tall. Everything below the giant's waist was already gone. Only the upper half of his body was perfectly preserved. Dozens of strange arms that had been sewn together were hanging on the giant's body. Slender arms, muscular arms, arms made entirely of ice. Gu Shan could even see that one of the arms had ears all over it. Gu Shan believed that each and every one of these arms contained terrifying power of unparalleled might. The giant's eyes were closed, sleeping. Chapter 447. The demon lord was crouching right next to the wall, its gigantic body almost blocking the entire Huang Quan passage. Its eyes were closed, sleeping. Gu Shan, no, a sharp-clawed demon, was squeezing through the crowd of demons, slowly moving towards the demon lord. Next to the demon lord's body, there was only a small gap, enough for a few demons of average size to pass through. The sharp-clawed demon silently stared at the demon lord. Following its stare, a notification appeared on the War God UI. A weapon-type demon lord is a unique existence. If the user wants to know more about this demon lord, they will need to pay an additional 500 soul points. No need. I know what this is, Gu Shan silently said. His emotions were a bit complicated. A weapon-type demon lord isn't a true demon. They are powerful existences that fell in the river of time due to various reasons. Some of the corpses were strange creatures from different worlds. These creatures once ruled over an entire world. They were once the rulers of certain worlds. Once those worlds were completely taken over by demons, then as their strongest enemies, the corpses of these creatures would be used to their advantage. Their corpses would be excavated, salvaged, modified using demon methods. After countless years of production, they would finally become the ultimate weapon of unparalleled power. The giant in front of him was one such example. It most likely used to be the ruler of a certain world, but after an intense war, only the upper half of its body remained. Taking a closer look, it was very obvious that only 2 of its arms belonged to itself. The other arms were sewn back on afterwards. Through some sort of miraculous method, these powerful arms were able to retain their original strength. This was the modified demon lord that the demons used to attack cities. But this wasn't the only type of demon lord. Above the modified demon lord, there were also chaotic demon lords. They were existences that were completely outside the realm of human thought. You wouldn't even know what they originally were. They had all sorts of unpredictable powers that could make you unknowingly be devoured, killed, enslaved, or dissipated. But chaotic demon lords weren't the strongest. True demon lord, a name that could make people despair. They were demons made from the corpses of divinities. These demon lord weapons had the power of a divinity when they were alive, as well as the destructive power of the demons, unparalleled. The true devils used the corpses of these gods to conquer the world for themselves. In his previous life, there was an unverified report in the human military intelligence. The elite human troops who provided this report were completely annihilated. Before they died, they sent back this information that could not be verified. There were only 2 sentences in the report. Firstly, the extinction of mankind was unstoppable. The second sentence stated that there were even more terrifying existences above the true type demon god. When they received the report, the war between humans and demons was at a critical moment. In order to avoid damaging the morale of the army, the human commanders, including Gu Shan, unanimously decided to keep the report top secret. As Gu Shan recalled the past, she stood silently in the middle of the demon horde. What exactly happened in Huang Quan that the demons would send such a powerful, modified demon god to guard and block the way here? Gu Shan shook her head and looked at the giant demon god. There was no way to guess or know anything. The truth was behind the demon god. Only by entering the Yellow Springs would he know everything. Gu Shan started to move. He was about to find out the truth. His sharp claws pierced into the cracks of the rock as he moved down step by step. Gu Qingshan was moving very slowly. Not too fast, not too slow, not too loud, not too obvious. He retracted his inner sight, lowered his head, and carefully maintained his state of movement, not revealing anything out of the ordinary. Closer, even closer, he stood in front of the demon god. The demon god was still sleeping, but the aura of destruction coming from the demon god's body made Gu Qingshan's body tremble uncontrollably. The difference between them was too great. With just aura alone, the demon god was able to completely suppress Gu Qingshan. Gu Qingshan could only grit his teeth and force himself to move forward. He used his sharp claws to stabilize his body, slowly crawling towards the demon god's side. He had to go through the narrow passage to reach the deepest part of the cave. The dark passage was silent. Most of the demons were either sleeping or resting. Only a slender demon with sharp claws was slowly moving forward. A few moments later, Gu Qingshan had already moved to the demon god's side. As long as he maintained this speed, he would be able to get past the demon god in a few more minutes. Gu Qingshan patiently reached his claws out, grabbed the wall, and moved forward. Without any warning, the sleeping demon god raised one of his hands and grabbed at the group of demons next to him. The place he grabbed was where Gu Qingshan was. Gu Qingshan didn't know why this happened, but he could swear that the demon god didn't notice him. This slumbering demon god might have sensed something. That arm of his had acted on its own accord. The demons couldn't even react to the demon god's action. A large number of demons were caught. Gu Qingshan was also caught. He and almost 100 demons were being held tightly by the demon god's hand. Some of the demons seemed to know what was about to happen as they struggled and screamed in despair. Hearing these screams, the demon god still didn't open his eyes. He opened his mouth wide, sending the demons in his hand into his mouth. Gu Qingshan desperately squeezed through the other demons and looked down through the gap in the giant hand. Down below, the other demons had already reacted and started fleeing in all directions. Gu Qingshan suddenly saw a one-eyed demon serpent. This one-eyed demon serpent was running away as fast as it could. Right now, it was right next to the demon god, about to go past him and enter the depths of the dark tunnel. "It's you." Gu Qingshan activated Shadow Shift without hesitation. In the blink of an eye, the one-eyed demon serpent appeared in the demon god's hand. Gu Qingshan had already escaped, standing next to the demon god. At this moment, a strong sense of danger was still lingering in his mind. He even felt a chill down his spine. Shadow Shift shouldn't be a problem. But among the dozens of demons in the demon god's hand, one of the sharp-clawed demons had been replaced by a one-eyed demon serpent. Gu Qingshan wasn't sure whether or not the demon god's hand would notice the slight change in the palm of his hand. At this moment, he didn't want to gamble on his luck, nor did he want to wait for the result. His ascended realm late-stage inner sight spread outwards, all the way to the outside of the dark tunnel. The entire tunnel was clearly visible to Gu Qingshan's inner sight. He didn't care if it was reckless or not, so he disappeared. Ground Shrink. Divine Skill, Ground Shrink, advanced randomly select a location, or by locking onto an enemy's presence. Use a unique movement technique to break through the limits of space and directly appear at the corresponding location. In the blink of an eye, he had already traveled 1,000 miles. Gu Qingshan appeared. As a sharp-clawed demon, his entire body was trembling. Chapter 448. Gu Qingshan appeared next to a pile of rocks. Using the divine skill Ground Shrink, he instantly traveled a great distance. From the darkness behind him, an invisible presence approached. This was the unique presence of a demon lord, looking down on all living beings, killing for pleasure. Sensing this presence, Gu Qingshan didn't run away right away. His claws dug deep into the rock wall. He knelt on one knee, breathing heavily. This was the presence of his past life, a memory that can't be erased. The scenes from the past flooded back to him like a tidal wave, but Gu Qingshan didn't want to stop himself from remembering them. Someone reported with a sobbing tone, "General Gu, the vanguard ran into a demon lord They couldn't react in time and were all killed. How many people died? 300,000. 300,000. General Gu. See. Gu Shan took a deep breath, feeling a bit of pain in his chest. The cold air from the ground was sucked into his body, barely allowing him to calm down. Following his inner sight, Gu Shan disappeared again. The second time, ground shrink. Suddenly, Gu Shan appeared in the middle of the demon horde. There were still a lot of demons here, and most of them were on high alert. They formed layers upon layers of defense. After all, Huangquan was right behind them. This was the last part of the journey. The demons didn't allow any souls to enter Huangquan. Gu Shan stumbled. Die. He swung his claws, almost out of control. Blood splattered everywhere. The demons screamed in pain. Gu Shan disappeared. He reappeared in another demon camp a few hundred miles away. He was flying forward without a care for anything else. Some of the demons looked up, looking at him in surprise. But that was it. No demons attacked him first. After running for a while, Gu Shan suddenly tripped and rolled on the ground. The demon lord's presence followed him like a shadow. As if Gu Shan was stimulated, the scenes that were sealed deep within his memories suddenly resurfaced. A mountain. The mountain was filled with human corpses. A huge, sinister face peered over from the other side of the mountain and stared at the human camp. Mr. Gu, go. You guys leave. I'm a sword cultivator. I can stall it for a while. Without any explanation, the group of people swarmed over to grab him and drag him back. More armored soldiers stood in front of him as they advanced towards the demon god. Sir, you can't die. We'll stop it. Listen to my command. First team, go. Second team, follow. Charge, everyone. Let's fight. The ferocious face that was as large as a mountain slowly opened its mouth. Countless screams of human beings rang out. The frigid aura from the cave woke Gu Shan up. His trembling body stopped. He suddenly shouted, "No!" The surrounding demons could only hear a sharp whimper from the sharp-clawed demon. Then, the sharp-clawed monster stood up shakily. Just as the demons thought it was strange, they suddenly felt a sharp pain. Their heads were separated from their bodies, and they lay dead on the ground. The sharp-clawed demon disappeared in front of all the demons. A few hundred miles away, it reappeared. The dark cave had turned into a flat path. The cold air coming from it was enough to freeze a person. The Earth Sword suddenly spoke up with a hurried tone. I can sense an intense surge of demonic and divine power erupting. You have to run away quickly. Roar. Behind him, a deafening roar resounded from the dark tunnel. An intense gust of wind swept through the entire cave. The worst-case scenario had occurred. That slight sense of abnormality caused the demon god to wake up. Gu Shan's heart sank. It's impossible to go back the way we came. The only way to survive is Huangquan. Run. Run as fast as you can. Gu Shan was screaming in his mind, but he didn't move. The demon god's presence became even stronger. The feeling of despair from his past life surrounded him, opening the door to his memories. A voice came from the depths of his memories. What? A person like you can become a commander of the human race? A cute female voice came. You found the strongest liquor? What a silly brat. Fine, this empress will reluctantly go on a date with you. The flame flew away, then suddenly reappeared. The girl's voice came from the communication talisman again. I'm at Camp 571, a bit far from you. But if you're willing, come find me out, all right, brat? Don't forget to bring liquor. We're going to have a good drink in the blink of an eye. Dirt was blown all over the place. Boom. Screams of pain. Someone angrily shouted, Gu Shan, you can't go. That place was just discovered by the demon god. He turned around and left. Someone chased after him from the camp, loudly shouting, General Gu, hurry back. That place is definitely done for. He was running as fast as he could. He had never run as fast as he did in his entire life. Running. Finally, he stood on top of a tree, looking at the world-ending flames of Camp 571. The light from the flames illuminated his eyes. The flames went out. Everything went out. Intense pain. Wake up, Gu Shan. The Earth Sword jumped out from the void of space and patted his shoulder. Gu Shan woke up. He never knew that the Earth Sword's voice could become so urgent, so fast. Hurry and run. Gu Shan, the demon god, is heading this way. The Chaoyin sword hovered next to the Earth Sword. It was also anxiously letting out a woo-woo sound. Right, I need to run now. I need to run. Gu Shan clenched his teeth. He abruptly flew forward a few feet. Not good, I can't run like this. He gave up on flying and used ground shrink again. Compared to shadow shift, ground shrink didn't cost too much spirit energy. Fortunately, he was currently in the body of a demon, so he wasn't afraid of being surrounded by a horde of demons after teleporting. He appeared in the middle of the horde of demons, then disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already very far away, arriving at another camp guarded by demons. Gu Shan seemed to have noticed something. He used ground shrink, without any regard for spirit energy, to quickly travel a large distance. After a while, Gu Shan stopped. A mass of darkness was approaching him from behind, finally enveloping him. It was a giant arm covered in black hair. The arm suddenly reached out to grab Gu Shan. Gu Shan instantly disappeared. But right in front of him, another giant hand of black fog was waiting for him. The hand of black fog quickly covered the entire passage, grabbing at Gu Shan. He's a demon god. Quickly use me to face him, the Earth Sword hurriedly said. I know, Gu Shan replied. Gu Shan wielded the Earth Sword tightly and slashed at the hand of black fog with all his might. Secret art, torrent. This was a powerful secret art. The vast sword phantoms rushed forward like a torrent, striking the hand of black fog, but only managed to leave a gap about half the width of a person. Gu Shan squeezed through the gap and followed the sword phantoms forward. Roar! A furious roar of unwillingness resounded from the back of the cave. They were too far away. The demon god couldn't exert its full strength. Gu Shan rushed out of the black fog, not even looking back, and activated ground shrink again. In the blink of an eye, he had traveled several hundred miles. In front of him, a ball of dim yellow light appeared in the endless darkness. It was the exit of the cave. It was reflecting the faint light of Huang Quan. Gu Shan's figure disappeared and reappeared at the exit in the blink of an eye. He went through the exit without hesitation. The light expanded. Ho ho ho! An intense gust of wind blew, almost blowing Gu Shan away. Around him was a boundless sea of clouds. Gu Shan found himself high in the sky, constantly falling down. Looking down, all he could see was a vast river that stretched as far as the eye could see. The river water was dim. The water flowed faster and faster. Clouds of mist rose from the surface of the river, drifting and forming dark clouds. Gu Shan's figure moved, not stopping in the air, but instead sped up, descending like a meteor. He dispelled all beings equal and returned to his original appearance. Since there were no demons around, he didn't need to pretend to be one anymore. If he was discovered by Huang Quan's forces, he might accidentally get hurt. His flying speed increased. With the demon god chasing after him, he couldn't waste even a second. The Chaoyin sword flew out, buzzing at Gu Shan. It seemed to be trying to explain something. I know, that's the legendary Forgetting River. You definitely can't touch it. Gu Shan replied. The Forgetting River, in the legends, is a river that no living being can touch. Aside from the dead of hell, any other living being that enters the Forgetting River will forget their past. Their soul will be sent to hell or reincarnation. This is a river that belongs to the dead. This is the most powerful law of Huang Quan. The Chaoyin sword once again let out a buzzing sound. A drop of water that gave off a faint yellow aura appeared from the blade. Forgetting River water. A drop of Forgetting River water that the black cloaked skeleton went through countless trials and tribulations, spending thousands of years to obtain. A line of glowing text appeared on the War God UI. The Chaoyin sword requests your permission to refine this precious drop of Forgetting River water in order to gain the Forgetting River's recognition. The Chaoyin sword requests your permission to use 1,000 soul points to help it refine the Forgetting River water. Gu Qingshan replied without hesitation. Allow it. In a split second, the faint yellow water droplets scattered, turning into a mist that drifted around the Chao Yin sword. Ting! Refinement complete. The Chao Yin sword can use. Even a sea of bitterness will pass on the forgetting river. That's great. Even a demon god wouldn't dare to enter the forgetting river. As long as I hide inside the forgetting river, I'll be able to escape. Gu Qingshan took the two swords, flew through the howling wind, through the clouds, heading towards the forgetting river. At a certain point, the presence of a demon god came from behind. An aura full of killing intent, one that could destroy everything. In that split second, an uncontrollable thought appeared in Gu Qingshan's mind. Run? I'm running. Gu Qingshan looked around. In the sky, swords, large river, intense wind. This scene is so familiar. The deepest scene in her memory appeared. The camp. The sound of armors hitting the ground was like a thunderstorm hitting the ground, one after another. Tens of thousands of soldiers knelt down. Mr. Gu, I am willing to die together. I am willing to use my blood to die together with you. Sir, voices came one after another, becoming louder and louder. Countless impassioned voices turned into light and infused into the sword array. Facing the wind, he flew to the sky. And then, the Chao Yin sword let out an intense, vibrating noise. Gu Qingshan regained his senses. He looked up. 7 to 8 giant arms appeared out of nowhere in the sky. These arms were either long or short. Some were exuding cold air. Some were emitting green poisonous fog. They were all trying to grab Gu Qingshan. Chao Yin sword. Gu Qingshan loudly shouted. He suddenly flashed, crossing a large distance. When he reappeared, Gu Qingshan was only a few hundred meters away from the river. The Chao Yin sword vibrated. A faint yellow light that looked like a burning flame appeared from the blade of the sword. Gu Qingshan held the Chao Yin sword in his hand and pointed at the vast river. The forgetting river parted, leaving a path for him to enter the bottom of the river. The forgetting river accepted him. Now, as long as Gu Qingshan enters the river, he'll be safe. Without stopping, Gu Qingshan quickly flew down towards the forgetting river. 500 meters, 200 meters, 30 meters. I'm here. Gu Qingshan arrived at the surface of the forgetting river and stopped. What's the matter? Quickly hide inside, the earth sword spoke. Gu Qingshan silently stood still. The river wind blew his hair away, making his clothes flutter. He still didn't move. A demon lord's arm followed. The giant hand opened, grabbing towards Gu Qingshan. Gu Qingshan disappeared and reappeared above the hand, swinging the earth sword down. Ar! He angrily roared and slammed the demon lord's arm into the forgetting river. The arm was hit, but it was fine. But as soon as it touched the forgetting river water, it began to struggle in fear. It was useless. This was the forgetting river. The laws of Huang Quan were condensed here. The demon lord's arm only moved a bit before losing all signs of life. It slowly sank to the bottom of the forgetting river. Seeing this, Gu Qingshan lightly nodded. The forgetting river can't be touched, otherwise even a demon lord would be at a disadvantage. As if noticing this, all the demon lord's arms in the sky disappeared. High up in the sky, the giant's face peeked out from the cave, angrily looking around. He looked at the faint yellow water of the forgetting river below. The forgetting river's water surged, like an arrow leaving its bow, like a horse escaping its reins, flowing endlessly. That ant-like human stood on the forgetting river's surface without a single trace of fear on his face. The giant roared in anger. I let an ant-like soul pass through the dark cave. Even if I'm asleep, I wouldn't make such a mistake. That puny human even crippled one of my arms. You're just a lowly soul. How did you manage to get past me? The giant couldn't understand. He decided not to think about it anymore. After all, after capturing the other party, he'll be able to obtain their memories by chewing on their soul. As long as he can obtain their memories, the giant will be able to understand everything. With that in mind, the giant swooped down. Dozens of arms with different functions flew out from his body, circling around the giant. The giant's speed wasn't much slower than Gu Qingshan's ground shrink. He charged at the human with everything he had. Gu Qingshan looked up as the demon lord approached. He didn't move. It wasn't until the demon lord entered the range of his inner sight that he swung the Chao Yin sword. The torrential river water parted. Gu Qingshan landed. The flowing river water made way for him, ensuring that there wasn't a single drop of water around him. No, lowly human soul, I want your memories. The giant roared. Gu Qingshan sank into the river, kept sinking. At a certain point, Gu Qingshan suddenly appeared in the air. The giant, with all its arms, appeared in a strange space. There wasn't a single drop of water in this space. All of the forgetting river's water was avoiding this place. The dim yellow flowing water reflected a dancing light on the giant's body. This only lasted for a split second. Even the sea of suffering can be crossed, but not the demon lord. The forgetting river closed up. A huge whirlpool suddenly appeared on the surface of the flowing river. The demon lord struggled inside, but it was useless. This was the greatest law of Huangquan. This was the water of reincarnation that forgets everything and separates life and death. In just 2 breaths worth of time, the demon lord stopped struggling. Gu Qingshan hovered above the river, silently watching this. A few moments later, the demon lord's body floated up. Gu Qingshan looked at the demon lord's body and stayed silent for a while. At a certain point, he muttered, "My memories are my most precious possession. I can't give them to you." He took out a bottle of fine liquor from his inventory bag. As he opened the bottle, the fragrance of alcohol filled the air. Gu Qingshan let go. A bottle of wine fell into the forgetting river, bobbing up and down next to the demon lord's body. "A toast to all of you." Gu Qingshan looked up, paused for a while, waiting for the wind to dry the moisture on his face. "Don't worry, everyone. I'll protect you in this life." Chapter 449. Gu Qingshan stood still on the surface of the river for a while. It wasn't until the demon lord's corpse floated down the river that he pulled back his gaze. Silence. Only the sound of the river breeze could be heard. Gu Qingshan looked up. The forgetting river was vast, occasionally shrouded in mist, making it impossible to see the end of the river. The only thing he could see was Shui Yuntian. Gu Qingshan was silently surprised. According to legends, this Huangquan River was supposed to be filled with dead people. Everyone who died used this river to travel to either hell or reincarnation. There should be a ferryman on the forgetting river. Of course, that was the cultivation world's forgetting river, with a skeleton woman as the ferryman. As for reality, according to the machines of Huangquan, it might even be a fairy. Gu Qingshan waited for a bit longer. He still couldn't see anything. Strange. All living beings come here after death. Even if the passage is blocked, there should still be some sort of divinity here. Why was the Yellow Springs so empty? Gu Qingshan couldn't help but ask, "System, why can't I see a single living thing?" "Ting," the system replied. "Because Huangquan is filled with dead people," Gu Qingshan replied. "I know. What I mean is, why can't I see the manager or guardian of Huangquan? The system doesn't know what happened in Huangquan. Please explore the world of Huangquan by yourself." Gu Qingshan could only give up on asking. "If that's the case, I'll just act quickly." Lines of glowing text started to appear on the War God UI. "Attention, please. You've schemed to kill a remodeled demon lord. This is unprecedented in the Six Worlds history. This historic moment will be known by many struggling worlds through various special methods. Because the demon lord was killed by the forgetting river, you cannot obtain soul points. You've triggered a special War God title quest. User, please continue to work hard and kill another demon lord to obtain the corresponding War God title." Reading through it, Gu Qingshan couldn't help but shake his head. This is a bit similar to when I first obtained the Hitman title. The title of War God was a good thing, but the inconvenient thing was that the system didn't even tell him what the title was. Gu Qingshan tried asking, but the system didn't reply at all. At this time, another line of glowing text appeared on the War God UI. "Your actions have attracted the attention of certain existences within the Yellow Springs. Please treat this attention seriously, because it will determine your treatment in Huang Quan. At this moment, Gu Qingshan seemed to have sensed something and craned her neck to take a look. A row of glowing numbers floated above his head. 0000. Gu Qingshan asked curiously, "What is this?" A voice replied, "Hello, I'm sorry to bother you, but since you've entered Huang Quan, you must be included in my statistics. Who are you?" This voice wasn't the merit accountant machine from before. He slowly turned around, only to find nothing. In the river, various inexplicable things would occasionally be carried away by the undercurrent. But Gu Qingshan didn't see anything near him. As soon as he fell into the river, he released his inner sight to check his surroundings. Even now, his inner sight is still constantly covering a radius of several hundred miles. Perhaps some powerful cultivators find it too tiring and troublesome to constantly use their inner sight to check their surroundings. But Gu Qingshan definitely wouldn't make such a low-level mistake. His inner sight scanned around 3 times. He still couldn't find anything. This made Gu Qingshan serious. Gu Qingshan clasped his fist and bowed, asking, "Sir, can you show yourself? Since you were able to take on a demon lord by yourself, of course I want to meet you. Please wait a moment." This female voice sounded exceptionally cold, with a hint of vigilance and killing intent. Gu Qingshan sharply sensed this killing intent. He suddenly had a thought. "What number machine are you?" he asked. You know about Huang Quan's machines?" The female voice was surprised. "Of course, I've already met with the prayers trial machine, which means you're their customer?" "No, we're friends, is that so? But I can't trust you so easily. After all, even the demon lord couldn't catch you just now. There must be something special about you." The female voice was still cautious. Gu Qingshan calmed down a bit. "This is probably one of the 88 machines. It's able to hide at the bottom of the Forgetting River. What a unique ability." A flash of inspiration appeared in Gu Qingshan's mind. "That's right, no matter what happened in Huang Quan, if I can bring a powerful machine back, the human realm might gain a bit more power." Thinking that, Gu Qingshan very seriously spoke. "I really am your friend. I know that you have 88 machines. This number is because of a superstitious divinity that thinks this number is good," the female voice hesitantly asked. "You know that? Then, do you know what happened to that divinity?" Gu Qingshan recalled the prayers trial machine's words and replied, "He was the first to die. What else do you know?" "The prayers trial machine requires blood to operate, right? There's a machine that likes to prank people called the anger calming machine. It's the husband of the prayers trial machine." The female voice calmed down and muttered, "You even know about such a secret between machines, and you're a human soul. Seems like you're not an enemy." That lingering murderous intent disappeared. Rumble, rumble. The ground shook. Gu Qingshan anxiously waited. The sturdy gray-white rocks began to split apart. These rocks, that even the earth sword couldn't cut, were quickly split apart. A blue cluster of light rose up from the ground, carrying a bit of cold air. The cluster of light slowly dissipated to reveal an ancient lady. She wore a blue dress. Her posture was light. Her lips were bright red. Her eyes were like a phoenix, but her expression carried a faint sense of coldness. Chapter 450. The Dark Tunnel. The frigid wind howled endlessly like cries. A sorrowful voice resounded. "How pitiful! I can't even bear to watch where the demon lord originally stood." All the demons were prostrating themselves on the ground, trembling. It was as if they were enduring some sort of indescribable torture, but someone had covered their mouths, preventing them from making a sound. The sorrowful voice resounded again. "But you can't blame anyone else. It's your fault for being so weak that you can't even block a hole that let out a faint sigh. Die, all of you." Following this voice, the entire area fell silent. The demons stopped trembling. Their corpses slowly melted. After a while, another voice resounded. "What do we do now? We also lost a remodeled demon lord," the voice from before replied. "Did you manage to find that soul?" "There's no way to find it. I think he's inside the Forgetting River. The Forgetting River is blocking all information, almost deceiving a demon lord and being protected by the Forgetting River. Such a human must die, but the forgetting river is blocking all information. What do we do now? Come, let's take a look at the connection between Huang Quan and the human realm. The two voices disappeared. A few moments later, at the connection between the dark tunnel and the space vortex, two black shadows hovered in the air. From one of the shadows, a hand reached out of the tunnel and touched the void of space. Boom! The fierce flames burned the hand into ashes. Seems like we still need a bit more time. The human realm's protective barrier still hasn't broken, and we're too strong, the voice spoke regretfully. If that's the case, it's time for the Hells to do something right. Have them find that person's body in the human realm, then destroy it. As long as the body is destroyed, there's no need to worry about where the soul is hiding in the forgetting river. He'll die right away. Following the casual conversation between the two voices, an intense gust of wind flew out of the dark tunnel, followed the space vortex, and headed towards the human realm. Soon, the four Hells that descended on the human realm would receive the news. In the dark tunnel, the voice sighed. Wasting so much time for an ant, it really isn't worth it. As if something had happened, they went silent for a bit before becoming a bit excited. Can you feel it? Indeed, a world is about to become our fruit. Go. The matters of this world have been arranged properly. It's time to harvest the more important world. That's what we should be worried about. Yes. The two shadows disappeared. They left. The other side, Huang Quan, at the bottom of the forgetting river. The green-robed maid asked, "May I ask who you are?" This time, it was a formal inquiry. The earth sword silently sent its voice. "She carries the power of the law of Huang Quan." Gu Qingshan nodded. It wasn't just the Yellow Springs laws. The azure-robed lady was surrounded by a blue, watery light. While Gu Qingshan was staring at the blue light, a line of glowing text appeared on the War God UI. Discovered Huang Quan origin. Origin water. As it turns out, this mass of blue water was actually the Huang Quan world's origin water. Possessing the law of Huang Quan and being surrounded by the water of origin, this woman's status could only be described as extremely noble. Gu Qingshan became even more solemn. He clasped his fist and bowed, then spoke. "This humble one is Gu Qingshan, a human cultivator. Because hell appeared in the human realm, I used the soul detachment secret technique to come to Huang Quan to investigate." The azure-robed girl was a bit surprised. Is he really a living person? Since when did the human realm have such an ability to detach their soul and travel to Huang Quan? She stared at him and suddenly called out, "Merit accountant machine." A voice answered, "I'm here. I'm here. Please tell me what you want." The voice sounded a bit flattering. Gu Qingshan was a bit annoyed. The other party ignored everything I asked, but the azure-robed girl only needed to call out once, and he immediately appeared. "Is he a living person?" the azure-robed girl asked. "Yes, according to the laws, he is indeed a living person, so his merit is at 0000, the merit accountant machine replied. The azure-robed girl nodded, now completely convinced. If he's a human from the human realm, then everything makes sense. The azure-robed girl slightly curtsied and said, "In Huang Quan, everyone calls me Shanu. You can call me that as well." "Very well." Gu Qingshan clasped her fist and bowed back. "The human realm already has 4 hells?" The azure-robed girl sighed. "That's right. We're running out of ideas." Gu Qingshan then explained the situation in the human realm, even telling her why she came here. Hearing that, the azure-robed girl's attitude became a bit warmer. She then changed the way she addressed him. "Gongzi, how are the prayers trial machine and the others?" Gu Qingshan replied, "Although they don't have the ability to save the human realm, I can feel that they're very happy to be here." The azure-robed girl's cold expression faded a bit and said, "That's good." She went silent for a bit, then continued, "Unfortunately, I'm still recuperating, so I won't be able to help you right now." Gu Qingshan looked back, only to see the blue origin embracing the azure-robed girl, occasionally seeping into her body. Her body was somewhat illusory and transparent, like an unstable projection. After a bit of hesitation, the azure-robed girl suddenly opened her hand. In her hand, there was a misty green aura condensing into a ball. Take this. At least the remaining forces of Huang Quan are willing to give me face. They won't trouble you, ah? Then I thank you. The blue aura went into Gu Qingshan's hand and disappeared without a trace. Gu Qingshan carefully sensed it and found that her aura now contained a bit of coldness. This coldness doesn't contain any power. It's only a change in aura, and it only affects aura. And I can force this aura out of my body at any time. Gu Qingshan was relieved. The azure-robed girl nodded to Gu Qingshan and said, "With my aura, the remaining weapons will help you." Weapons? Gu Qingshan didn't have time to ask and clasped her fist first. "Thank you, Go. If I can fully recuperate, I'll also return to the battlefield," the girl said. Gu Qingshan thought for a bit, tapped her inventory bag, took out a bottle of top-grade healing pills, and was about to give it to her. "This is good stuff, but I can't use it." The azure-robed girl waved her hand dismissively. Seeing that she was willing to help, she hesitated for a bit before asking, "Do you have burnt mountain spirit jade, sunken ice soil, or 10,000-year-old red spirit rock?" Gu Qingshan's eyebrows twitched. Burnt mountain spirit jade must be found in a mountain range that contains a large amount of fire spirit stone, as well as an abundance of earth spirit chi. After thousands of years of no one mining it, the fire spirit stones and earth spirit chi would fuse together to occasionally produce 1 or 2 pieces of burnt mountain spirit jade. Sunken ice soil is an extremely rare ice spirit ground. It's a special kind of soil that can be used to support the growth of ice-type treasures. Red spirit rock is rare to begin with, so it's even harder for it to go through 10,000 years of change and precipitation. These are all rare treasures. Gu Qingshan thought about it and didn't answer. The azure-robed girl was also a bit embarrassed and said, "Huang Quan is in danger. I need these things if I want to heal as soon as possible, so I can only beg you. If you don't have them, then it's fine." Gu Qingshan put the highest grade healing pills into his inventory bag, then took out the 7-colored fragrance bag. He quickly took out the burnt mountain spirit jade, sunken ice soil, and 10,000-year-old red spirit rock. 10,000-year-old red spirit rock is extremely rare. Even by Hua sect only has one. These are the sect's most precious treasures. "Take them," Gu Qingshan said. Seeing how generous he was, the azure-robed girl was also moved. She looked at Gu Qingshan deeply and said, "Thank you. I will now go into seclusion to heal my wounds. I look forward to meeting Gongzi again on the battlefield." The two of them clasped their hands. As Gu Qingshan was about to ask about Huang Quan's situation, the azure-robed girl turned into a mass of light and sank into the ground. Gu Qingshan was stunned. Going into seclusion already? That's a bit too rushed. As the ground closed up, the azure-robed girl seemed to have gone away. Even the earth sword couldn't cut through this bluish-white rock. But the other party went inside and left in the blink of an eye. Gu Qingshan was stunned for a bit, but had no choice but to take the 2 swords and leave. He walked for a bit at the bottom of the river. The earth sword suddenly spoke up. It doubtfully asked, "Such a precious thing, you gave it away just like that?" The Chaoyin sword followed the earth sword and also let out a doubtful woo-woo sound. Gu Qingshan replied, "If she had the presence of the law of Huang Quan on her, then she must be someone from Huang Quan. And from the killing intent she exuded, it's as if she had just returned from the battlefield. I can't be wrong about that. If she recovers quickly, she might become a powerful ally." Gu Qingshan couldn't say anything else. "This is the first time we've met. Even if she's one of us, there's no need to treat that girl so well. None of this is a reason for me to give her a precious treasure." He suddenly stopped. This really is a problem. Why am I acting like this? Gu Qingshan crossed her arms, troubled. "I also feel like something's wrong. I'm not a pervert. Why couldn't I help but help her?" He carefully thought about it. "And you gave her everything you had. That's why you like her?" The earth sword asked. The Chaoyin sword let out a woo-woo sound in agreement. Gu Qingshan slowly spoke. "I don't really like her. Not to mention, why would I like someone the moment I see them?" He asked himself, "But why would I do that? No matter how outstanding a girl is, I wouldn't do that." The earth sword spoke in a low voice. "I'm very sure that you weren't under any sort of seduction technique, so in your human language, this is called Love at first sight? No, it's just a matter of having sex. Gu Qing-shan hurriedly denied it. That's not it. I really don't have any romantic thoughts, he then asked. You sense the law of Huang Quan on her body. Do you know what she is? I'm not sure. The forgetting river water around me is interfering too much. I can only tell that she isn't a demonic deity, the Earth Sword answered. Gu Qing-shan closed her eyes and silently thought for a bit. He suddenly said, It's not the feeling between a man and a woman. It's something else. Then what is it? The Earth Sword asked. I can't remember what it is right now, but it's a feeling that I've had for a very long time. That's why I helped her without hesitation, without even thinking about it. If you think about it from this perspective, the things she wants are also a bit strange, the Earth Sword commented. That's right. These 3 treasures aren't normally used for healing. Perhaps she has other uses, Gu Qing-shan also said. He continued, but these 3 precious treasures have too many uses. I don't know how she would use them. 1 man and 2 swords were flying at the bottom of the river while analyzing what just happened, slowly moving forward. Suddenly, a few lines of glowing text appeared on the War God UI. The hell that descended upon the human realm has been informed of your actions. They have begun to search for your body. You must find a solution to all your problems before they discover your physical body. When necessary, you must return to your body. Otherwise, if your body is destroyed by them, you will truly die. Gu Qing-shan felt tense. We need to hurry up. Chapter 451. Gu Qing-shan hid at the bottom of the forgetting river, using all his strength to travel for an hour. For an hour, he didn't see anything in the river. At some point, he couldn't hold himself back anymore. Gu Qing-shan flew out from the forgetting river, silently hovering above the river. This place was very far from the dark tunnel. The surface of the river of forgetfulness was a dusky yellow, and even the sky was reflected in the dusky light. Standing on top of the river, looking around, there was only a single direction where he could see a tall mountain. This was a mountain that connected the sky and the earth. When Gu Qing-shan looked in this direction, this mountain took up his entire field of vision. The mountain was like a giant wall that blocked out the sun. Seems like it's this way, Gu Qing-shan said. Sticking close to the river, he flew towards the Grand Mountain Range. Indeed, a mountain that looks like it can run a horse to death. Gu Qing-shan had to fly for almost 2 hours before he reached the foot of the mountain. All of a sudden, Gu Qing-shan's expression changed. 2 lines of glowing text appeared on the War God UI. You've arrived at the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. The Grand Tai Wei Mountain is hell. Created by the laws of Huang Quan and hell, this mountain protects the 6 worlds of the samsara. Reading these 2 lines of explanation, Gu Qing-shan's expression became serious. So this is the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. The Grand Tai Wei Mountain is the outermost layer of the samsara. According to ancient legends, outside of the samsara worlds, there are winds of chaotic tribulation that can destroy everything. They are forces even more terrifying than the space vortex. Once the winds of chaotic tribulation enter the world, all living beings and the world itself will be wiped out. Against the winds of chaotic tribulation, no living being can escape. Even the world itself will be destroyed. The Grand Tai Wei Mountain is the only thing that can stop this wind. It is the divine mountain that protects the entire samsara. The lower half of the Grand Tai Wei Mountain is submerged under the forgetting river. There are many underground tunnels that lead all the way down to the abyss below. The legendary 18 layers of hell are located in the abyss below the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. This mountain protects against chaotic tribulation on the outside and suppresses hell on the inside, an unimaginable mountain. Gu Qing-shan looked at the Grand Tai Wei Mountain, paused for a moment, then flew towards the direction of the mountain. It couldn't be helped. There was nothing else in the river of forgetfulness other than the green-robed lady. He had no choice but to enter the mountain. After flying for less than an hour, a series of loud noises could be faintly heard up ahead. Gu Qing-shan listened attentively. The golden spears and armored horses roared angrily. A thick, murderous aura pervaded the entire mountain. By this time, Gu Qing-shan was already very close to the Great Tai Wei Mountain. Gu Qing-shan focused her gaze. only to see that the entire mountain is filled with demons and dead people. They formed a dense mass and fought against each other. There were all kinds of strange demons, humans, giants, devils, and chaotic creatures. They slaughtered each other and fought chaotically without stopping for even a moment. Gu Shan quietly sank into the water and observed. Had the demons already taken over hell? But it didn't seem like it. Some of the dead had allied with the demons to kill other dead. The other dead were fighting back with everything they had, killing the demons with everything they had. All of a sudden, a sharp tearing sound came from the sky, attracting Gu Shan's attention. This sound was the sound of an extremely sharp blade cutting through the air. Gu Shan stayed close to the shore and looked at where the sharp blade came from, only to see that at the foot of the Forgetfulness River, countless demons and dead people had gathered together to fight against another group of dead that only had a few hundred people left. These 100 people were fighting as they retreated towards the Forgetfulness River. You want to run? You cowards should just obediently go back to hell and sleep. A fiend kind roared. It seems that in hell, the dead all use their thoughts to communicate, so souls of different eras can understand each other. The 100 or so dead were slowly being killed. The remaining 10 or so dead were protecting a human dead who was clad in armor and wielding a longsword. Even when surrounded by demons and dead people, they still managed to fight. This slope was connected to the foot of the mountain, so all the demons and dead people surrounded them, wanting to kill this last group of dead back to hell. But this dead human wasn't easy to kill. The blade in his hand was extremely powerful. Every time he brandished it, the long saber would emit a chilling arc-shaped saber light. In front of the arc of light, all the demons and dead people that surrounded them couldn't do anything against it and were killed in an instant. But there were too many demons and dead people. As soon as one group was killed, the next group would immediately fill up the gap, even closing in a bit. The demons were closing in from all directions. This dead human tried his best, but could only barely keep himself from being attacked. His subordinates were quickly killed, leaving him alone. Die, 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 all of you. The dead human roared, turning his body to make sure that the blade's attack range didn't have any blind spots. Very quickly, he was the only one left. He staggered, almost falling a few times. Once he fell, the demons and dead people wouldn't give him a chance to stand up again. The earth sword hovered in the air, asking in a low voice, "What now?" "Save him first," Gu Shan answered. With a single thought, the earth sword flew out. The earth sword carried the weight of a few million tons, turning into a blinding crescent white sword phantom. This sword ray was so huge that it instantly cleared out a huge area in the midst of the demons. Any demons that tried to stop the earth sword were cut into mincemeat. That dead human finally had a chance to catch his breath, but he was already covered in wounds. As soon as he relaxed, he couldn't stand up straight and fell on his butt. "Who are you?" He looked at Gu Shan and shouted. "The one who saved you," Gu Shan answered. The blade suddenly let out a screech. "I can't do it anymore." The dead human held the blade and said, "You have to save it." "Save a blade?" Gu Shan flew forward, picked up the dead human along with his blade from the air, and brought them back to the Forgetting River. The river split in two. Gu Shan brought the dead human into the Forgetting River, flying as fast as she could. The demons rushed to the Forgetting River, but didn't dare to enter. They knew how dangerous it was. As soon as they fell into the Forgetting River, they would either be reincarnated into hell or reincarnated in another world. The Forgetting River's law was no exception to the demons. Following a few angry and unwilling roars, the demons could only stand by the river and watch. "Get out of the way, we're coming," a dead fiend-kind hissed. The dead could enter the Forgetting River. They all jumped into the river, trying their best to catch up to Gu Shan. Gu Shan swung the Chow In sword behind her. Waves of the Forgetting River rose up, slamming the dead back onto the shore. When the dead struggled to stand up and wanted to enter the Forgetting River again, they found that the water had returned to normal. That person was gone. A few dozen miles away, at the bottom of the Forgetting River, the dead human fell to the ground, no longer moving. A few moments later, He sunk into the ground and disappeared without a trace. His wounds were too heavy, so he died. The Earth Sword spoke with a heavy voice. That's right. I was hoping to get some information from him, Gu Qingshan said. The dead will return to hell to sleep and wait for the next time they wake up. Gu Qingshan was a bit annoyed. Originally, he wanted to ask about Huang Quan before deciding on his next course of action. But who knew this person would die so quickly? While he was thinking about catching another dead, the blade on the ground moved by itself. Gu Qingshan raised her eyebrows and held the Earth Sword tightly. Don't be nervous. We're on the same side, the blade spoke up. How did you know I'm on the same side as you? Gu Qingshan stared at the blade and asked. This blade is quite powerful. I can't be too careless. Aura. You have her aura on you. So of course you're on our side. The blade stood up. It said. A white glow manifested on the blade's hilt. It was a small snow-white bird. The small white bird flew up and circled around Gu Qingshan twice. Chapter 452. As Gu Qingshan looked at the small white bird, he quickly understood. This is the blade's spirit. As for the dead human, no need to look. I can't swing myself, so I found a dead person to use me. The small white bird breathed heavily as it spoke. Which means the one who's actually fighting is you? Gu Qingshan asked. That's right, I'm the bone-rending hellspawn blade. You said I have her presence on me. Who is she? You've never seen her before? That can't be right. You do have her presence on you. The small white bird was surprised. Gu Qingshan replied. The blue dress maid? I've seen her before. I just don't know who she is. You don't know who she is? Interesting, since she didn't reveal herself. I can't tell her who she is without permission. The small white bird observed Gu Qingshan with a curious expression. Gu Qingshan didn't dwell too much on this issue. If she doesn't want to tell me, then so be it. There's something more important that I need to ask right now. This humble one is Gu Qingshan from the human realm. May I ask which machine number you are? He clasped his fist. The small white bird seriously listened, then suddenly opened its eyes wide, as if it couldn't believe this question. The small white bird landed on the handle of the blade and pointed at it with its claw. Take a good look. I'm a blade, not a machine. Gu Qingshan froze. A blade really isn't a machine. Which means, besides machines, there are other things in Huang Quan, he muttered. Of course, using machines to deal with things is more efficient. But if something happens in Huang Quan, we still need to show up, a small white bird proudly declared. Gu Qingshan then asked, I want to ask, what's the situation in Huang Quan? That I don't, the small bird said. Gu Qingshan cut it off. I know you can't tell me. Just tell me where the important things are happening. I'll go take a look myself. These things in Huang Quan. Then never tell me anything. Gu Qingshan was already a bit annoyed by this. The small white bird hesitated. I came for the human realm. Please help me, Gu Qingshan said. The small white bird said, You came from the human world? Have you seen those machines? In truth, only 4 of them managed to reach the human realm safely, Gu Qingshan replied. Gu Qingshan repeated the process of the arrival of the machines. The small white bird said excitedly, In that case, you really are a reinforcement from the human world? Reinforcements. Reinforcements from the human world. Gu Qingshan was speechless. Why does this word sound so harsh? I was even hoping for reinforcements from Huang Quan. But now, Huang Quan's weapon had been turned around, so he could only count on the human realm's reinforcements. Gu Qingshan sighed and helplessly said, Yes, they could be considered as reinforcements. The small white bird asked, How should I cooperate with you? I need to know exactly what happened in Huang Quan, Gu Qingshan replied curtly. The small white bird stuttered for a while before answering. Actually, that terrifying incident happened all of a sudden at the time. I fell asleep, seeing Gu Qingshan's indescribable expression. The small white bird hurriedly explained. With over 80 machines, the world of Huang Quan has always been well managed. It's been a long time since I've used an ancient weapon like myself. It stretched out its wings and patted its head. That's why I was a bit lax. In other words, even this bird doesn't know what happened. Then why did you cooperate with a dead person? This is something that happened in the last 2 days. I can tell you about it, please go ahead with the great calamity of Huang Quan looming. The dead people of hell split into two factions. One of them wanted to cooperate with the demons to destroy the world of Huang Quan and escape from the torment of hell. The other faction wanted to fight against the demons, hoping to save Huang Quan and use their merit to redeem their sins so that they can reincarnate as soon as possible. The small white bird added, as a weapon of Huang Quan, of course I'm willing to fight alongside the latter faction. Gu Qingshan nodded. If that's the case, then the chaotic scene just now makes sense. Just now, he was observing for a long time before he finally found a chance to save the dead person. This was completely out of caution. Dead people only need to sleep in hell to revive after they die, but Gu Qingshan can't. During that brief moment, just now, Gu Qingshan faintly sensed the presence of several demon lords deep inside the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. The Grand Tai Wei Mountain has already fallen into the hands of the demons. Gu Qingshan couldn't help but ask, does no one care about hell? Where are the divinities of Huang Quan? Are they all dead? The small white bird answered, I'm not sure either, but when I woke up, there were no longer any divinities in Huang Quan. But you don't know where all the divinities of Huang Quan went. I'm sorry. After the machine revolution, I haven't come out for a long time. It was only when I sensed the world's calamity the day before yesterday that I woke up hearing that. Gu Qingshan sighed. I've only just arrived in Huang Quan, so I don't know what I'm doing right now. The most important thing right now is information. Only by knowing what happened can I plan and use my power. He asked, if you don't know, then there must be other entities that do. Do you think they do? The small white bird answered right away. I'm guessing the divine armament sensed the world's calamity before I did, so it must know everything. Who is it? One of the three divine armaments, the forgetting river, soul, flaying hook. It never sleeps and has been recording everything that happened to the souls of the dead. Really? Gu Qingshan couldn't believe this bird anymore. The small white bird guaranteed. That's right, its information network is the best. Nothing in Huang Quan can be hidden from it. Can you take me to it? You just saved my life, and I still have that entity's presence on you. Of course I can take you there. The small white bird flapped its wings and flew into the bone-rending hellspawn blade. The blade spun a few times in the air and pointed in a certain direction. That way. All right, let's go find it right away. Wait a minute. The blade stopped Gu Qingshan. What is it? I have to tell you first, the forgetting river soul flaying hook is a divinity's weapon. Without its permission, you can't hold it. Otherwise, you'll die right away. I know. I'll be careful. Let's go. The bone-rending hellspawn blade carried Gu Qingshan all the way to the bottom of the forgetting river. Gu Qingshan checked her soul points. She was constantly using her soul points to avoid the forgetting river's current. Over 1,000 soul points were slowly being consumed. I need to speed up. The Grand Tai Wei Mountain, at the foot of a secluded mountain. Gu Qingshan peeked out from the forgetting river and lightly leapt onto the shore. There was no sun, moon, or stars in the sky, but there was a gentle light that shone down evenly, illuminating the surroundings with a cold and cheerless color. This looked like a night in the world of Huang Quan. A solemn temple appeared in front of Gu Qingshan. The entire temple was silent. Not a single sound could be heard. This is the place. The small white bird flew out from the blade and landed on Gu Qingshan's shoulder. What is this place? Gu Qingshan asked. This is the forgetting river, soul, flaying hook's temple of worship. Inside is its spirit summoning incantation. Spirit summoning incantation? That's right. The forgetting river soul flaying hook is a manifestation of the forgetting river's law. Only the divinity of Huang Quan can wield it. Normally, it doesn't show itself. Any entity other than the divinities that want to communicate with it must use its spirit summoning incantation for it to come out. Chapter 453. Gu Qingshan and the bone-rending hellspawn blade came ashore. He carefully crouched down behind a boulder on the shore, quickly observing his surroundings. This place was quite far away from the divine armament shrine of worship. Gu Qingshan suddenly remembered something. This is the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. He looked down and stared at the ground. I'm standing on top of this legendary divine mountain. Gu Shan couldn't help but poke the ground with the earth sword. Sparks flew everywhere, but not a single mark was left. The small white bird asked, "What are you doing?" "This is the body of the great Tai Wei mountain. No force can move it at all." As Gu Shan looked at the grayish rock surface, he couldn't help but ask, "Why is this mountain exactly the same as the rocks at the bottom of the Forgetting River?" "The bottom of the Forgetting River is also a part of this mountain," the small white bird answered as a matter of fact. Gu Shan was a bit surprised, then understood. "You mean the Forgetting River flows inside the Grand Tai Wei mountain, and the entire Huangquan is made up of the Grand Tai Wei mountain?" Gu Shan asked. "That's right. No power can move the divine mountain. Not even the winds of chaotic tribulation from outside the world can harm it," the small white bird proudly declared. Hearing that, Gu Shan's mind was shaken. Who would have thought that the entire world of Huangquan was made up of a single mountain? This divine mountain silently stood tall in Huangquan, helping the 6 worlds of reincarnation to resist the winds of chaotic tribulation. "All right, I understand now, but why would a weapon like you fall asleep?" The small white bird explained. For the past 1,000 years, Huangquan had already entered the era of industrial revolution. After the appearance of the 88 automated machines, everything became very orderly. That's why a lot of weapons from the age of old slowly disappeared. Gu Shan asked, "Where did you all go?" "Our bodies are also placed in this shrine of worship, but the weapon spirits are all in a state of retirement. Only when we hear a summon or sense a world-ending calamity will we come out to check the situation. That's why very few people come to this shrine of worship." Gu Shan stared at the shrine and asked, "That's right, let's go." The small white bird flapped its wings. "Wait." Gu Shan was still lying on the shore. This place was at the edge of the Forgetting River. As long as Gu Shan wanted to, she could hide in there at any time. "Such an important place. I don't believe the demons would let it go," he said softly. As Gu Shan stared at the temple of worship, her expression gradually turned solemn. Although that place was quiet, there was an obscure aura floating about. There was an uneven amount of dust on the ground around the temple, as if it had been blown away by the wind. "I've come into contact with quite a few demons these past 2 days. It seems like they only know how to destroy and kill," the small white bird said. "Those are all monsters, not demons." "Demons are the smartest and most powerful monsters," Gu Shan said. With a single thought, the Chao Yin sword floated in the air. The tip of the sword slashed through the air, aiming at the temple of worship. "Go!" shouted Gu Shan. Buzz! The Chao Yin sword turned into an afterimage as it flew over the hill. The flying sword quickly circled around the divine temple, rushed into the distant sky, and disappeared. After waiting for 2 breaths of time, the sky above the divine temple began to warp. This warping slowly spread out. Only after confirming that everything was fine did it slowly disappear. "What was that?" the small white bird asked. Gu Shan scowled. "Monsters don't have such a camouflage technique. I'm guessing it's a high-ranking demon. Should we go and kill it?" Gu Shan cautiously replied, "No, demons have all sorts of strange methods, and we don't know how many demons there are inside the divine temple. So let's just take a step back first." A few minutes later, another secluded hill. The small white bird sighed. "The demons are currently taking over the entire divine mountain. It's getting harder and harder to find a place to stay," Gu Shan suggested. "How about I think of a way to lure the demons away? You go in and awaken the divine armament." "No, the weapon spirit can't use summoning incantations. You'll have to do it." Saying so, the small white bird flew into the bone-rending hellspawn blade. A pale white glow came from the blade and seeped into the ground. "What are you doing?" Gu Shan was surprised. "I'm summoning a few powerful dead to help," the blade replied. A few moments later, a large gray wolf swam along the river. This gray wolf was as tall as 5 people, giving off an intimidating presence. The gray wolf looked at the bone-rending hellspawn blade and spoke in human language. "What do you need from us?" "Wolf King, reinforcements from the human realm are about to enter the divine temple, so we're asking for your help," the bone-rending hellspawn blade replied. Wolf King observed Gu Shan for a bit, but didn't say anything. A few moments later, a few more dead swam out from the Forgetting River. Where did they come from? Gu Shan asked in a low voice. The entrance to hell is in the underwater mountain. They came from hell, the blade replied. With Wolf King leading the way, 2 giants, 1 fiend kind, and 3 humans stood in front of Gu Shan and the bone-rending hellspawn blade. The giant's body was bound by heavy chains that had already been broken. His face was full of ferocity, but his eyes were calm. The fiend kind was shrouded in a sharp golden glow that obscured his figure. The humans consisted of 2 males and 1 female. The 7 dead stared at Gu Shan without stopping. A few moments later, they gathered together, discussing something in a low voice. They look quite imposing, Gu Shan commented. The small white bird jumped out from the bone-rending hellspawn blade and spoke. After the divinities disappeared, the 18 layers of hell were led by the strongest dead of each layer. These are the 7 leaders, so they want to save Huang Quan and use this merit to atone for their sins? That's right, 18. So, the remaining 11 hegemons all want to work together with the demons to destroy hell? The small white bird sighed. That's right, the demons are very powerful, and with the support of 11 leaders, the entire hell is already in danger at this point. The 7 leaders of hell finished their discussion. One of them, an old man, came up and greeted Gu Shan. Greetings, my compatriot, the old man said. My compatriot? Gu Shan repeated. That's right. After all, I'm the only human among the 7 leaders of hell. If I'm the one to negotiate, things will be much easier, the old man said. Gu Shan's gaze went past this man and looked at the other male and female. The old man waved his hand dismissively. Don't look, they're Azuras, not people of our world. Gu Shan was surprised. The man was tall and burly, but his appearance was extremely fearsome. Any normal person would feel their heart palpitating at the sight of him. The female, on the other hand, was a beautiful woman with an elegant demeanor. Who would have thought it would be exactly as the legend said? Gu Shan silently thought. According to humanity's legends, the Azura men were average-looking, while the women were extremely beautiful. The Azura realm has always had countless peerless beauties. This once caused the Heaven realm to be envious and greedy, often leading to conflicts and wars between the Heaven realm and the Azura realm. From what I see now, this legend wasn't just a myth. It turns out that the Huang Quan realm of the Samsara doesn't only accept the dead of the human realm. There are also the hungry ghost realm, Heaven realm, Azura realm, and animal realm, Gu Shan muttered. As soon as he said that, Wolf King's ears perked up. Buddy, you can't call it that. Animal realm sounds terrible. We all call it the Beast King realm, the human old man hurriedly said. All right, Beast King realm. Gu Shan changed his mind. The old man finally calmed down. He explained to Gu Shan, the divinities of the Heaven realm naturally wouldn't stay in Huang Quan for too long. The ghosts of the hungry ghost realm all advocate the destruction of hell. They're actually the evilest entities of the Samsara. They should be called wraiths instead. Wolf King comes from the Beast King realm. The giants, fiend kind, and I come from the human realm. The man and woman over there are both from the Azura realm. Now, we have finished our self-introductions. Please introduce yourself. The 7 leaders all looked at Gu Shan. This humble one is Gu Shan, a human sword cultivator. Gu Shan clasped her fist. The old man nodded. Gu Shan, I'll make it short. The current situation in hell is already very dire. Even with the fiend blade summon, we still need to confirm that you're strong enough to participate in such a major event. Otherwise, we won't waste our time on you. That's fine. You're a human. You don't have the ability to revive in hell. So, out of respect for the fiend blade, we won't hurt you. Please show us your strength, the old man said. He then spoke in a low voice. Those guys are all very arrogant. None of them want to talk to you. So since we're all humans, I'll remind you to put on a good show. Gu Shan smiled. Earth sword here. You go. Very well. The earth sword responded and appeared from the void of space. It flew in front of the Lord of the Dead and hovered there. The powerful dead exchanged glances, not understanding what the human soul in front of them meant. If anyone can make my sword move, even a little bit, I'll leave right away. I won't bother you anymore, Gu Shan said. Hearing this, the two Azuras were very interested. Azuras have always been warlike. They're very interested in all kinds of competitions and bets. The male Azura stepped forward first and tried. The earth sword didn't move. The male Azura didn't believe it, chanted an incantation, and pulled the earth sword with both hands. The earth sword didn't move. Don't stare at me, one of the giants spoke with a gruff voice. He pushed the male Azura away, grabbed the earth sword, and began to pull. Ark! The giant roared in pain. The earth sword didn't move. The giant took out a rock hammer from somewhere and raised it up high. Ah! The giant roared. The rock hammer carried intense wind as it struck the earth sword. Dong! The giant's feet were knocked off the ground. The rock hammer broke into pieces and fell to the ground. Chapter 454. The 86,370,000 tons Earth Sword has the weapon Spirit Thaumaturgy. Bear your own weight. Only those that the Earth Sword approves of will be able to pick it up. Against these dead people, it wouldn't use this thaumaturgy. Not only that, Gu Shan also infused a Kai Shan style into the Earth Sword. Kai Shan style, heavy weight. With the Earth Sword's weight combined with the Sword Saint style, none of the dead people here could move it at all. After that, the leaders all tried, but still couldn't pull the Earth Sword out. The male Azura returned to the female Azura and obediently knelt on the ground. He kept explaining things to them. The female Azura's eyes gleamed with excitement as her charming face lit up with excitement. Idiot, she lightly scolded. The male Azura lowered his head, clearly dejected. The female Azura turned around and spoke to Gu Shan. Human, your weapon is indeed powerful, but want to know how strong you are? What do you want? Gu Shan asked. Please help me use my blade technique. If you can block 3 of my attacks, I'll admit that you can participate in hell, the female Azura said. The small white bird looked at Gu Shan. Sure, Gu Shan replied. With a single thought, the Chao Yin sword appeared from the void of space. The bone-rending hellspawn blade flew into the female Azura's hand. The female Azura held the blade in one hand, forming a hand seal with the other, and shouted, Scatter! 5 clusters of water appeared around her body. The water quickly took human form and turned into her. In front of everyone, 6 identical beauties appeared. The beauties raised their blades. The 6 beauties looked at Gu Shan and spoke in unison. It's still not too late for you to beg for mercy. Seeing this, the male Azura had a look of admiration on his face. This was an extremely difficult secret skill to master. It required a water elemental secret art, as well as a blade secret art. Azura, Rahu's secret skill, water body. Gu Shan smiled. A rare skill, please. The 6 beauties nodded and leapt towards Gu Shan. A blade phantom flashed. Clang, 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 clang. Gu Shan slashed with the Chao Yin sword. Each of the female Azura's attacks were blocked by Gu Shan. In the blink of an eye, 3 strikes had passed. Your swordsmanship isn't bad, the female Azura shouted. She didn't seem to have any intentions of stopping. Instead, she manifested several more afterimages to surround Gu Shan. The blade moved like a shadow, mysteriously slashing at Gu Shan's body. A few times it almost hit Gu Shan. How delightful! The female Azura revealed a beautiful smile. The Azura's blade. The female Azura blade. Qing body. Blade phantom. Qi, sword, and blade the body. Sword, body. Gu Shan didn't body doesn't she. And stood up. She sword. The female Azura attacked several hundred more times, fighting to her heart's content. Finally, she stopped. What is it? Gu Shan asked. I've come into contact with humans in hell. According to their usual performance, there shouldn't be anyone as strong as you in the human realm. I've come into contact with humans in the infernal realm. According to the usual performance of humans, there shouldn't be anyone as strong as you in the human realm. He's seen through the other party's strength. He had already figured out his opponent's strength. Azuras are said to be warlike, so this female Azura's strength could be considered decent even among the dead. Even with such strength during the fight just now, The female Azura didn't try to kill him. She was actually testing his strength. Since Gu Shan has a good impression of this, she didn't try to kill him and was actually testing his strength. Since Gu Shan had a good impression of this, he didn't try to kill her. Through this test, he was able to understand which category the leaders of hell belonged to. The human old man silently gave him a thumbs up. The other dead people looked at each other and nodded silently. They discussed for a bit. Now you can join us to fight against the other hells. It was now that Wolf King opened his mouth and spoke to Gu Shan for the first time. Thank you, but I need to go see the forgetting river's soul, flaying hook, and find out the truth, Gu Shan said. What's the point of knowing the truth? It's already like this. We might as well go kill. Wolf King impatiently spoke. The ground suddenly shook. The entire Grand Tai Wei mountain began to shake. This divine mountain that can withstand the winds of chaotic tribulation started to let out continuous rumbling noises. Oh no, this feeling, it's a summoning. The human old man's expression changed. Something is calling us, Wolf King growled in a low voice. I must go, the giant spoke slowly. No, let's help him first, the female Azura resolutely said. The other leaders froze. I can see through the strength of anyone I've fought before. This is my thaumaturgy. Did you forget? The female Azura very seriously said. Obviously, the female Azura had quite a bit of authority among them, so the leaders quickly listened to her. Then let's hurry, the fiend god said. He turned into a mass of light, flew to the sky, and headed towards the divine armament-worshipping temple. The giant quickly followed after the fiend god. Before this, Gu Shan was already far away from the holy temple, so there was still quite a bit of distance between here and the mountain. Hurry, hurry, hurry. We'll be forcefully summoned back to hell very soon, the human old man said. He also flew towards the holy temple. The rest of the leaders of hell all flew together. Gu Shan shouted in a low voice. What happened just now? I don't know either. The small white bird hurriedly replied. Let's keep up, Gu Shan said. Halfway there, they heard the angry roar of the giant coming from the holy temple. Over the mountain, Gu Shan froze in place, muttering, soul-devouring arachnid. A battle was taking place in front of the holy temple. One of the giants was turned into a grayish-white statue, crumbling into dust in the blink of an eye. The other giant was sent rolling far away on the ground. The fiend god flew in the air, unleashing elemental attacks one after another. However, these attacks dispersed midway and did not reach the divine temple at all. A five-colored spider sat on top of the holy temple, about the same size as the entire holy temple. The top half of the spider's body was that of a naked man. This was a soul-devouring arachnid, a synonym for power even among the demons. In a past life, he once saw this kind of demon. This kind of demon lord had the strangest thaumaturgy. It hunted using inner sight. When a living being's inner sight intertwined with its, they would immediately fall into a muddle-headed state. This ability was especially terrifying in large-scale battles. Normally, as long as a single soul-devouring arachnid was present, the entire battle could easily turn into a one-sided massacre. It would also be very difficult to assassinate it. Its own strength was comparable to a remodeled demon lord. The soul-devouring arachnid opened its vertical pupils wide and smirked. A bunch of dead people. Instead of sleeping in peace, you came here to cause trouble, truly. Shah. Several dozen blade phantoms struck his face, cutting off the rest of his words. Azura? Damn it. The man was furious, lightly moved his 8 spider legs, and quickly climbed down from the holy temple. He was about to chase after the leaders of hell. But Wolf King howled as his body grew to the same size as the soul-devouring arachnid. He slammed into the soul-devouring arachnid, forcing it back a few steps. Run! Wolf King howled. The leaders of the dead immediately ran away. You scum! The soul-devouring arachnid roared in anger. His 8 spider legs slightly bent as the soul-devouring arachnid chased after them. Its huge body was unexpectedly nimble and agile. The leaders of the dead were in front. The soul-devouring demon emperor Arachnid was behind, one fleeing, one chasing. They quickly went away. The male Azura suddenly appeared in front of the holy temple, waving at Gu Qingshan. "Quickly go in," he shouted. Gu Qingshan's figure disappeared and reappeared in front of the holy temple. The human old man also ran out from the holy temple and said, "There are no demons inside. You go in. We'll watch over you." "What do we do if the Arachnid returns?" Gu Qingshan quickly asked. "We'll buy you some time and cover your escape." Gu Qingshan was moved. "Then you might dash. It's just sleeping. It's fine. Those who have died can't die again." The old man waved his hand dismissively. Gu Qingshan agreed, nodded to the two of them, and entered the holy temple. The holy temple was still silent, as if no one had been here for thousands of years. Gu Qingshan's gaze quickly scanned through the entire holy temple. There were many sacrificial platforms here. Each of them had an ancient weapon on them. Blades, spears, swords, halberds, axes, battle axes, hooks, forks, whips, maces, hammers, truncheons, sticks, lances, clubs, crutches, meteor hammers. These were all cold weapons from the age of old, a total of 66 of them. These weapons didn't move at all, nor did they manifest any weapon spirits, as if they were in slumber. Gu Qingshan quickly found what he was looking for. It was the very center of the holy temple. On top of the sacrificial platform, there was a unique-looking weapon. From the handle and blade alone, it looked like a sword. But at the tip of the sword, the edge of the sword was curved in the shape of a hook. It silently floated on top of the platform, giving off a faint yellow glow similar to the Forgetting River. Gu Qingshan flew in front of the altar on the hook. Without waiting for him to do anything, a ball of misty green aura leaped out and lightly touched the high platform. As the platform sensed this blue aura, a series of incantations appeared. Seems like this was the weapon spirit summoning incantation. Gu Qingshan was a bit surprised to see this. He originally thought it would take a bit more effort, but who knew the blue dress girl's aura would have such a wondrous effect. He looked at the weapon spirit summoning incantation and muttered, "Soul separation hook, Forgetting River at your service." Boom. With a small sound, the hook on top of the platform moved a bit. The hook seemed to have become agile. It uttered a sound, "Huh? That seems to be her aura." The hook flew down from the platform and landed in front of Gu Qingshan. Gu Qingshan wasn't sure. This divine artifact seems to have been slumbering here. Could it really be that I can find out what happened in Huangquan by looking for it? The Forgetting River soul separation hook also didn't say anything, as if trying to confirm something. After a while, the Forgetting River soul separation hook spoke up. "Indeed, you do have her aura on you. Seems like you're one of us." The hook's attitude became closer. Roar. An earth-shattering roar came from outside. Gu Qingshan's heart sank. The soul-devouring Arachnid is about to return. Seems like the leaders of hell couldn't resist for very long. Or as they said, they were forcefully summoned back to hell by something. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.